Chapter 200, A Slap in the Face. Huang Jingyang, his countenance darkened, without a single superfluous word, promptly strode towards the venue of the gathering. Immediately, Feng Miaozhu and the others followed suit. The party arrived swiftly at the location of the soiree. There they beheld Xie Shadong, conversing with Qin Fan with mirth in her eyes, even a glint of peculiar radiance. At this sight, Huang Jingyang's countenance darkened as if dripping water. He had long coveted Xie Shadong, renowned as the nation's sweetheart, thus upon learning of her contract termination, he promptly contacted her, lavishly signing her, even offering an exorbitant penalty to prevent her separation from her close confidant Feng Miaozhu, going as far as to recruit her, ensuring the companionship of the two sisters. However, while Feng Miaozhu succumbed easily, Xie Shadong always maintained her distance. The significant investment in this film was originally intended for Xie Shadong, yet in her ignorance, she was replaced by Feng Miaozhu, allowing Xie Shadong to serve as a subordinate, a move to suppress her, to make her understand her rightful place. Yet now, not only did she fail to grasp her position, but she even began to flirt with other men, a sight Huang Jingyang had never witnessed, Xie Shadong smiling so coquettishly at a man. Xie Shadong was projected as pure as jade. "Who is that man?" Huang Jingyang inquired, not advancing immediately. "I do not know who he is, only that he accompanied an actress named Xiang Shui," Wei Yuhang hastily replied. After Qin Fan killed Mo Shindao and seized everything from the Lu family, plus the impending inheritance of Mo Shindao's assets, he could unquestionably be crowned as the undisputed top tycoon of the island. However, Qin Fan killed under the name of Master Qin, but after Mo Shindao's demise, he was known as Qin Jinren. Now, if one mentioned Qin Jinren, everyone present would undoubtedly know. Yet, truly knowing Qin Fan's name, or having seen Qin Fan in person, was rare. Only those who attended Lu Xian's gathering, later on Longyu Island, due to the sea closure, could catch a glimpse of Qin Fan's true appearance, apart from some top-tier tycoons and certain high-ranking officials, along with some practitioners. In total, these people amounted to merely 50 or 60 individuals, which, compared to the population of over 10 million in Huandao City, could almost be considered negligible. Thus, those who knew Qin Fan as Qin Jinren were exceedingly scarce. At this moment, Gu Qingye stepped forward to explain Xiang Shui's background. Huang Jingyang listened, somewhat astonished. Because the other party hailed from the mainland of Xiagua, and as for their names, they were unaware. Throughout, neither Gu Qingye nor Wei Yuhang had ever concerned themselves with Qin Fan, to the extent that they hadn't even inquired about his name. All they knew was that Xiang Shui addressed him as Big Brother Qin. Indeed, he bears the surname Qin. "Huang, it seems that Shadong is quite familiar with that man." "I've never seen her take the initiative like this before," Feng Miaozhu observed Xie Shadong with her beautiful eyes, her words like a gentle fire. She and Xie Shadong were as close as sisters, but alas, it was merely an illusion to outsiders. Entering the entertainment industry together, Xie Shadong had always overshadowed her, fueling her jealousy. Not only was she constantly overshadowed by Xie Shadong in her career, but more importantly, those high-ranking officials and nobles regarded her only as a plaything, while they wished to marry Xie Shadong into their wealthy families. On what grounds? Her appearance and figure were no less inferior to Xie Shutong's, so why was she always deemed inferior in every aspect? Thus, she harbored deep jealousy. Therefore, she had attempted various means against Xie Shadong in secret, such as that amulet. That amulet wasn't a blessing at all, she had obtained it from an evil monk. Those who wore it long-term would gradually develop mental issues, such as insomnia, irritability, mood swings, ultimately affecting their careers. At the time when the company terminated the contract with Xie Shadong, she thought Xie Shadong was finished. Yet this Huang Jingyang, this young Huang, unexpectedly flew over and signed Xie Shadong. However, she also employed some means to ensure that this young Huang poached her as well. This time, joining Wanqing, she finally saw an opportunity to suppress Xie Shadong, and she wouldn't miss it. Indeed, I've never seen Shadong behave so despicably before, actively engaging with a man like this. Even I haven't received such treatment. Huang Jingyang's complexion darkened like the bottom of a pot as Feng Miaozhu fanned the flames, prompting him then, with eyes almost ablaze, he strode over to where Qin Fan and the others stood. Once Huang Jingyang approached, all attention naturally shifted to Qin Fan's group. "Mr. Qin, I never expected you to crack jokes as well." Xie Shadong was engrossed in conversation with Qin Fan at the moment, completely oblivious to anyone approaching. "Who are you?" However, Xiang Shui, on the side, noticed Huang Jingyang coming over and asked. Only then did Xie Shadong turn around upon hearing Xiang Shui's voice, looking towards the side. "Young Huang." Yet, when Xie Shadong saw young Huang, panic immediately flashed across her face. Weren't we just having a good time chatting? Why are you nervous now? Huang Jingyang looked at Xie Shudong with a half-smile, half-smirk. I was just chatting with a friend and didn't notice young Huang's arrival. Please forgive me, Xie Shudong hastily explained. Huang Jingyang was possessive and controlling, with a chaotic lifestyle. Moreover, he had various eccentricities. Many minor actresses and models in the industry had fallen victim to him, with some experiencing mental issues, and some even dying in bed. She would never dare to get close to such a person. Furthermore, having interacted with Qin Fan, compared to Qin Fan, Huang Jingyang was nothing. It could be said that encountering Qin Fan had ruined her for anyone else. I've been looking for you all this time. Turns out, you were having such a great time chatting with him. Why didn't you introduce me? Huang Jingyang's eyes were icy as he stared at Xie Shudong. Sensing Huang Jingyang's cold gaze, Xie Shudong gestured for her to step back, hiding behind Qin Fan. Shudong, it's the first time I've seen you so actively engaging with a man. He must have an extraordinary background. Introduce me to him. Fang Miaozhu swayed her hips as she approached, her voice lazy, having just played around with Huang Jingyang. Her face was flushed with allure, captivating any man who saw her. Huang Miaozhu, this is my friend, Mr. Qin Fan. Mr. Qin, and this is Xiang Shui. She will be auditioning tomorrow, so I was just discussing with her how to prepare for the audition. Xie Shudong quickly regained her composure, spinning a fantastic tale. After speaking, she turned to Qin Fan and Xiang Shui, saying, This is young Huang, the young master of the Huang family group. He is in charge of Wanqing Entertainment, and he's also leading the production of this film. Listening to Xie Shudong's introduction, Huang Jingyang's gaze swept over Qin Fan and Xiang Shui. Xiang Shui's beauty and her pure demeanor immediately caught his attention. Such women were rare in the entertainment industry, and he liked them. She had to be conquered and toyed with. However, that wasn't the focus now. The focus was that Qin Fan dared to vie with him for Xie Shudong. Mr. Qin, being friends with Shudong, you must be the young master of the Qin family from the capital, right? Huang Jingyang asked with a smile. Qin Fan, Qin Bufan. So, Huang Jingyang immediately thought whether Qin Fan might be from the Qin family in the capital. If he was from the Qin family in the capital, he had to be cautious and not go too far. I am not from the Qin family in the capital. Qin Fan immediately shook his head. Upon hearing that he was not from the Qin family in the capital, Huang Jingyang burst into laughter. Not from the Qin family in the capital? Then he could handle him however he pleased, even kill him without consequences. Guys, throw him down from here, and tie the girl to the bed. Huang Jingyang waved his hand and shouted loudly. Young Huang. Upon hearing this, Xie Shudong became anxious, trying to stop him. Smack! However, a crisp sound rang out as Huang Jingyang was directly slapped away. Chapter 201, Master Qin. The sound of a slap echoed, and Huang Jingyang was sent flying, spinning like a top in the air before crashing into several tables and chairs, finally landing on the ground, barely conscious, emitting sounds of agony. Witnessing this scene, everyone was dumbfounded. Chattering like a mosquito in front of me, truly deserving of a slap, Qin Fan withdrew his hand, picked up a wet tissue from the table, and wiped his hands as he spoke. You, how dare you hit young Huang? Fang Miaozhu looked at Qin Fan, her voice trembling, her face filled with astonishment. Huang Jingyang, he was the young master of the Huang family group. The Huang family was a top-tier noble family in the entire Huangdao city, even stronger than the Lu family. Huang Jingyang had deep roots in Huangdao city, and he could be said to act with impunity. Countless people tried to flatter him to climb up. Facing him, let alone hitting him, most wouldn't even dare to speak a harsh word. Huang Jingyang could easily crush someone in Huangdao city. You dared to hit me, you're dead. What are you all doing? Kill him for me. At this moment, Huang Jingyang had been helped up, one side of his face swollen, blood at the corner of his mouth, his teeth unknown how many had been knocked out, his voice already leaking as he spoke. And at his command, the security personnel around, as well as Huang Jingyang's bodyguards, rushed towards Qin Fan. The host of tonight, the young master of the top noble family in Huangdao city, had been beaten like this. If Qin Fan wasn't killed, he would surely be killed by Huang Jingyang afterward. Get lost. Facing these security personnel and bodyguards, Qin Fan uttered just one word. With the utterance of this word, an immense force burst forth instantly, sending all these people flying away. Not only them, but even Fong Miaozhu and the others were sent flying. People crawled up, looking at Qin Fan in fear. He's a grandmaster of Taoism. Yes, that's right. Among these individuals, there are certainly discerning ones who have recognized the prowess of Qin Fan. Truly, he is a grandmaster of cultivation who has attained consummate mastery in the Tao. So this is your reliance, daring to strike against me? You think a bit of Tao cultivation makes you invincible, assuming there's no Tao grandmaster within the Huang family? You're doomed. Not only will you perish, but anyone associated with you shall meet their end as well. Women will be toyed with until death, and men's corpses shall be shattered. At this moment, Huang Jingyang was furious. He must reclaim his dignity, or else his position as the young master of the Huang family would be meaningless. With that, Huang Jingyang reached for his phone, preparing to call for reinforcements. Huang young master, don't act rashly. Please, refrain from such impulsiveness. Seeing the situation, Xie Shadong became anxious, rushing out and speaking urgently. You scoundrel. I've spent money on you, signed major contracts with you, yet you dare to collude with others. Even at this moment, you dare to plead for him? You're finished. Huang Jingyang, witnessing Xie Shadong defending the person who struck him, was truly infuriated. Young Master Huang, that's not my intention. Please, refrain from acting rashly. Xie Shutong's words filled with extreme anxiety. She wasn't defending Qin Fan didn't need defending. It was you who needed protection. How Yuan Zijia died is still fresh in her mind. Yet, none of the others knew, each displaying an expression of mere spectatorship. Especially Fong Miaozhu, looking at Xie Shadong with a smug satisfaction. You're done, not only in terms of your career, but you might end up dead. She had devised many schemes to ruin Xie Shadong, but none had succeeded. However, now things were different. Xie Shadong unexpectedly defended the one who struck Huang Jingyang at this critical moment. Huang Jingyang would never let Xie Shadong off the hook. Xie Shadong was doomed. This. Beside herself, Xiang Shui was caught off guard by the sudden turn of events, feeling frantic. How did it escalate so quickly? It made her anxious as well. I wasn't planning to kill you before, but now, I've changed my mind. Qin Fan's gaze was ice cold as he looked at Huang Jingyang. Indeed, Qin Fan hadn't considered killing Huang Jingyang before. A reprimand would have sufficed to make him scram. But Huang Jingyang's words changed everything. Daring to threaten him by targeting those around him? He wouldn't be polite either. As Qin Fan raised his hand, suddenly, there was a commotion not far away. Master Gu, you must help me, introduce me to Master Qin. A middle-aged man in a suit, exuding a steady demeanor, spoke to the man beside him. In the upper echelons of Huangdao City's society, anyone would recognize this middle-aged man, none other than Huang Guantong, the helm of the entire Huang group, and Huang Guantong's name was widely known in Huangdao City. Back then, Huang Guantong's father, Huang Nangan, the head of the Huang group, had 4 wives and 7 sons. Huang Guantong ranked 6th and had no qualifications to become the head of the Huang group. At most, he was sent overseas to manage some assets. But eventually, his several elder brothers died, all of them in accidents, while one went insane. Eventually, it fell on him to become the head of the Huang group. As for how his elder brothers died, no one knew. Even when Huang Nangan, Huang Guantong's father, suddenly died of a heart attack a month after Huang Guantong became the young master, everything seemed accidental. But everyone knew it was definitely related to Huang Guantong because his ruthless and cunning style was said to have been inherited from his father. So, Huang Jingyang became Huang Guantong's most beloved son, of course, because of his ruthless style. After becoming the head of the Huang group, Huang Guantong led the Huang group to develop extraordinarily well. Even though the Huang family originally only controlled 40% of the shares in the Huang group, through his means, he managed to increase it to 60%. Therefore, Huang Guantong was definitely a ruthless figure in Huangdao City. Huang General, I'm really helpless in this matter. Master Qin's current status is extremely high, and I'm fortunate to have some connection with him. It's difficult for me to recommend you to him now. Master Gu shook his head. This Master Gu was none other than Gu Santong, who had always assisted Lu Zi. Gu Santong had always greatly admired Qin Fan and had been urging Lu Zi to offer 30 billion, which was why Qin Fan had no reason to kill him. He even treated him kindly after the Lu family's downfall. So, now all the aristocratic families in Huangdao City knew that Gu Santong had connected with Master Qin and had become a prominent figure in the upper echelons of Huangdao. I understand. Master Qin is such a person that I cannot meet him at will. Huang Guantong smiled. He had gone overseas on a business trip for several days, only to return and find that Huangdao City had changed. Then, he made inquiries from various sources, spending a great deal of effort to find out the reasons behind it. You see, with his position in Huangdao City, it was truly a piece of cake to inquire about any news. But finding out who had toppled the Lu family and killed the god of Mo was extremely difficult for him. What does this show? It shows the tacit understanding among the entire officialdom and the upper echelons of those prominent families in Huangdao City to cover up this matter. This speaks volumes about the terror of this figure. However, he had the ability and means after all, and finally found out everything. When he learned everything, he was completely shocked. The Lu family and the Huang family were evenly matched. Perhaps the Huang family was slightly stronger overseas, but when combined with the Lu family and the god of Mo, these two forces together could easily crush the Huang group. Not to mention, any force in Huangdao City would be easily crushed by the combined forces of the Mo god and the Lu family. As a result, both the Lu family and the Mo god were wiped out by Master Qin. It can be seen that Master Qin is truly an extraordinary figure, someone not to be offended by him or the Huang family. As a result, he regretted why he had gone overseas at this particular time. If he had been present, he would have hitched a ride on Master Qin's line at all costs. However, fortunately, he had a good relationship with Gu Santong. By leveraging Gu Santong, he might be able to hitch a ride on Master Qin's line tomorrow. Zhongji will hand over everything left by the Mo god to Master Qin. At that time, Master Qin will definitely be present. I'll see if I can arrange an opportunity for you to meet. Chapter 202, Tragedy Strikes the Family. A hushed silence fell over the room, each person looking with dread at the lifeless body of Huang Jingyang on the ground. No one could believe that Qin Fan dared to commit murder in front of so many witnesses. Yet, Qin Fan had indeed done it. What's happening? This gathering was going so well, but now tragedy strikes our home, with Jingyang suddenly succumbing to a heart attack, lamented a voice amidst the silence. All eyes turned to the speaker, none other than Huang Guantong, Jingyang's father. He gazed sorrowfully at his son's body, appearing anguished as he spoke. Jingyang, I've always told you not to overindulge. It's bad for your health. And now, you've had a heart attack out of nowhere. It's like burying my own son. The listeners trembled inwardly at Huang Guantong's words. Died of a heart attack? But they had all witnessed Qin Fan snap Jingyang's neck with his own hands. Now, Huang Guantong, as Jingyang's father, was shamelessly spouting lies, claiming Jingyang had died of a heart attack. How shocking! This only served to underscore the fact that Huang Guantong dared not provoke Qin Fan. Even though he had witnessed Qin Fan personally kill Jingyang, he dared not seek revenge. The only thought running through everyone's mind was, do not provoke the true man Qin. Qin Fan, let me escort you out, said Gu Santong respectfully, approaching Qin Fan. Qin Fan nodded. The situation had reached its conclusion, and Huang Guantong had no intention of seeking vengeance. There was no need to linger. With Gu Santong and Xiang Shui by his side, Qin Fan made his way out. As he walked out, everyone he encountered recoiled in fear. Especially Gui Yuhang, Gu Qingya, and Fang Miaozhu, who were now too stunned to even stand. Others dared not even look at Qin Fan, lowering their heads in deference. Meanwhile, Xiang Shui, following behind Qin Fan, wore a complex expression. She felt as though she didn't recognize her own elder brother anymore. As for Xie Shudong, she stood in place, unsure of what to do next. Shudong, since you have a good relationship with true man Qin, go and accompany him, Huang Guantong instructed her before leaving. Xie Shudong hesitated for a moment, then hurried to catch up with Qin Fan. Meanwhile, Fang Miaozhu, who had just been exposed in her indiscretion by seeing Xie Shudong pursue Qin Fan, felt her heart sink. Xie Shudong had truly attached herself to the dragon, ensuring a lifetime of ease. Meanwhile, her own future seemed bleak. Seeing Qin Fan leave, Huang Guantong addressed the remaining crowd, you've all seen it. Jingyang died of a heart attack. Tomorrow, I'll have the media publish the obituary. I have many matters to attend to, so please excuse me. His words carried a warning, anyone who dared to reveal the truth would face Huang Guantong's wrath. With that said, he called his trusted men to arrange matters, moved Jingyang's body, and left. Qin Fan truly is terrifying. Yes, we absolutely must not provoke him. In attendance were the luminaries of Huandao City, each one nodding in incredulous dismay. They dare not lay hands directly on murder. Even if they were to commit such an act, it would be through clandestine means. Yet this Qin Zhen, he dispatches with a life as casually as swatting a fly, and in broad daylight no less. After the deed is done, the adversary even admits defeat. To incur enmity with such a person is tantamount to inviting one's own demise 100-fold. However, General Huang is truly no ordinary figure, displaying discernment in the face of such circumstances, decisively opting for the most advantageous course, remarked one. Could it be he intends to seek revenge against Qin Zhen? And then become the next Lu family? Another speculated. Indeed, who would aspire to become the next Lu family? After tonight, those who sought to exploit Qin Zhen's precarious position within the Lu Corporation will surely have second thoughts. In truth, only one son has perished. General Huang has more than one heir, and Huang Jingyang's disorderly life is not a reflection of his upbringing. General Huang likely has numerous paramours and illegitimate children. Grooming another successor is a trivial matter. Sons are not as significant as the family legacy. Furthermore, with General Huang's cunning, he may leverage this incident to further his ties with Qin Zhen. The Huang family might stand to gain even more. Simultaneously, many spoke sharply, especially regarding General Huang's choice. Though it was deemed exceedingly callous, the consensus was that it was the optimal decision. To ascend from an unqualified sixth son to the head of the Huang family and steer the Huang Corporation would certainly not be straightforward indeed. After General Huang exited the hotel, he immediately resumed his former demeanor. General Huang, what is our next course of action? Shall we avenge young Master Shao? Inquired an aide promptly. Avenge? Are you blind? That scoundrel nearly implicated the Huang family over a starlet. He got what he deserved. General Huang remarked coldly. Huang Jingyang was a product of his upbringing, and his death was undoubtedly regrettable. However, General Huang was more concerned about the potential consequences. He had more than one son, and if these sons proved inadequate, he could simply groom more, perhaps even through liaisons with other women. Offending Qin Zhen was tantamount to dragging the Huang family into the abyss. Such a scoundrel deserved nothing less than death. So, what is General Huang's plan now? The aide asked, astonished by General Huang's callousness. What's the plan? Naturally, it's to seize every opportunity to ingratiate ourselves with Qin Zhen. General Huang replied, already pondering how to curry favor with Qin Fan. The aide fell into contemplation. What is the background of that woman, Xiang Shui, who accompanied Qin Zhen? After a moment of reflection, General Huang found a breakthrough. The aide acted swiftly, soon obtaining basic information about Xiang Shui. Tomorrow, announce her as the lead actress for the audition, General Huang declared without hesitation. But the role of the lead actress has already been assigned to Fang Miaozhu, and all the publicity has been arranged. The aide hesitated. Is that so? General Huang waved impatiently. The aide dared not speak further, understanding what needed to be done. Deal with those responsible for tonight's incident, and ensure there are no repercussions. We must not incur Qin Zhen's displeasure, General Huang continued. The aide nodded immediately. That might not be enough. I must personally visit Qin Zhen to offer my apologies. Suddenly, General Huang recalled the threat his son had made, to exterminate Qin Zhen's entire family. If he were in Qin Zhen's position, he would undoubtedly seek to destroy the perpetrator's family. This realization sent a shiver down his spine, yet he quickly regained his composure, even feeling a hint of excitement. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. I can use this to formally meet Qin Zhen. With that, he turned to his aide once more. Go, bring that Fang Miaozhu to me. Chapter 203, This is the true me. Gu Santong arranged the hotel for Qin Fan and gracefully took his leave. In the world of cultivation, many practitioners indulge in carnal desires, acquiring multiple spouses. Xiang Shui and Xie Shutong were truly exceptional, irresistible to any man. Gu Santong was no exception. Despite the late hour, it was prudent for him to depart swiftly. You should also rest, Qin Fan said, seated on the sofa, addressing Xiang Shui and Xie Shutong, who had not yet left. Xie Shutong felt somewhat awkward. She had been summoned by Huang Guantong to accompany Qin Fan, but based on her understanding of him, she was certain she wouldn't need to engage in such activities. However, deep down, she was secretly hoping for an intimate relationship with Qin Fan. Qin brother, are you truly the legendary figure who has caused upheaval in Huandao City? Xiang Shui ventured to ask. Yes, it's me. Earlier, when Lu Yuan owed 300 billion, I seized the opportunity during my visit to Huanda with you to deal with the Lu family. The days you couldn't reach me were due to this matter, Qin Fan replied calmly. Xie Shutong and Xiang Shui were still astounded by Qin Fan's nonchalant response to bring down the Lu family in a matter of days was why Huang Guantong feared Qin Fan so greatly. With the precedent of the Lu family's downfall, any family in Huandao City could be destroyed by Qin Fan within days. Therefore, it was natural for every family to fear him. Xiang Shui gazed at Qin Fan, her expression complex. Do you feel that the current me is different from the Qin brother you knew before? Qin Fan discerned Xiang Shui's thoughts. Xiang Shui nodded slightly. In truth, this is the real me, Qin Fan stated calmly. Xiang Shui and Xie Shutong were momentarily taken aback, then they began to understand. This was the true Qin Fan. Xiang Shui, since you have an audition tomorrow, you can spend the evening chatting with Shutong, Qin Fan suggested, breaking the silence. Xiang Shui regained her composure and nodded. Okay. Xie Shutong understood Qin Fan's intention to have her take care of Xiang Shui. However, given Xiang Shui and Qin Fan's relationship, she had a feeling that Xiang Shui's audition tomorrow would be just a formality soon. The two women left, while Qin Fan lay on the bed, reflecting on his cultivation journey since arriving on Earth. Initially, he tried to assimilate into mortal life as much as possible. However, as his understanding of cultivating before ascending to godhood deepened, especially after successfully condensing his nascent soul, he realized that clinging to a mortal facade was unnecessary. He was, after all, a cultivator, he couldn't truly live as a mortal. Therefore, he understood that the most crucial aspect was to temper himself in the mortal world, to comprehend amidst the mundane, and to discover his true self through trials and tribulations. Only then could he grasp the heavenly mandate and achieve godhood. He had already sensed the heavenly mandate twice, gaining a deeper understanding of cultivating before ascending to godhood. Thus, he already had a vague idea of how to perceive the divine mandate currently. His main concern was advancing his cultivation. He needed to reach the late nascent soul stage. The spiritual energy on Earth was thin, making it impossible to rely solely on cultivation to reach the late nascent soul stage. Before, he had considered relying on celestial treasures, but on Earth, where spiritual energy was scarce, such treasures were hard to come by. However, he was no longer worried because he had the remnants of the Chaos Pearl. Each time the Chaos Pearl absorbed a fragment, it would provide him with a substantial amount of high-quality spiritual energy, and the quantity was not insignificant. I'm currently at the mid-nascent soul stage. With the remnants of the Chaos Pearl's water attribute Dao fragment, my cultivation has advanced. I estimate that with 3 or 4 more fragments, I'll reach the late nascent soul stage. The issue now is how many remnants of the Chaos Pearl are left and how to find them each time. I need to be in close proximity to sense them, making it akin to finding a needle in a haystack. Finding the fire and water fragments was unexpected, but it also pointed me in a direction: seek out powerful martial cultivators and Taoists on Earth. For now, that's my only option. Qin Fan pondered, his current course set to seek out Earth's cultivators, the stronger, the better. Perhaps these formidable individuals held remnants of the Chaos Pearl. Ding dong! At that moment, the doorbell suddenly rang. Come in, Qin Fan said without getting up, his spiritual awareness scanning ahead, revealing 2 figures outside. One was Huang Guantong, and behind him stood a more seductive and captivatingly dressed Fang Miaozhu. Master Qin. Huang Guantong pushed the door open, his face beaming with smiles, devoid of any hint of grief over his lost son. However, Fang Miaozhu, standing behind him, trembled all over. The man before her was the terrifying figure who casually killed the heir of the Huang family. If not for Huang Guantong's threats and enticements, she wouldn't have dared to come. Speak, Qin Fan said casually, not bothering to look at the two. He paid no attention to Huang Guantong. If he had come for revenge, then let the Huang family become the next Lu family. Master Qin, that scoundrel offended you. I have specially come to make amends on his behalf, Huang Guantong said with a smile, walking up to Qin Fan respectfully. Oh, Qin Fan responded indifferently. Master Qin, I only just learned that you accompanied Miss Xiang for her audition. If I had known about this, Miss Xiang wouldn't have needed to audition. We've already decided to promote her as the lead actress in the film, Huang Guantong said to Qin Fan. Upon hearing this, Fang Miaozhu felt shocked, and more so, jealous. This film was tailored for her, with much publicity proclaiming her as the lead actress, yet now, a little nobody who came with Qin Fan had replaced her just because she was a friend of Qin Fan's. She remembered her struggles in the entertainment industry, starting from the lowest ranks, even having to compromise her integrity for a role. And now, this Xiang Shui, who just showed up, was cast as the female lead in a major production. If she received further support, this girl would undoubtedly become an international superstar. This filled Fang Miaozhu with jealousy, but what could she do? She didn't have any connection with Qin Fan. Oh, Qin Fan responded flatly. Seeing Qin Fan's reaction, Huang Guantong broke into a cold sweat. Master Qin, what should I do for you to spare our Huang family? I never intended to target the Huang family. Or do you seek revenge against me? Qin Fan asked. I dare not. Absolutely not. That scoundrel deserves to die. Huang Guantong replied, full of trepidation. In that case, why bother coming here? Qin Fan said blandly. Huang Guantong breathed a sigh of relief at Qin Fan's words. At the same time, he realized that establishing a relationship with Qin Fan wouldn't be so easy now. However, with Xiang Shui as a breakthrough, he could proceed gradually. In that case, I'll take my leave. With a respectful bow to Qin Fan, Huang Guantong departed. But before leaving the room, he exchanged a glance with Fang Miaozhu. Then, he left. Chapter 204, Personal Recommendation. Within the room, only Qin Fan and Fang Miaozhu remained. Fang Miaozhu approached meticulously dressed, adorned in a more alluring and provocative low-cut body-hugging skirt than before, accentuating her voluptuous figure. Her attire epitomized that of a courtesan. With Fang Miaozhu's beauty, any man seeing her dressed thus would instantly transform into a wild beast, ready to rush forth with her to the ends of the earth. However, Qin Fan remained utterly unaffected, calmly remarking, "Why haven't you left yet?" Upon hearing Qin Fan's voice, Fang Miaozhu's body trembled slightly, timidly uttering, "Master Qin, Why haven't you left?" Qin Fan inquired. Bang! Upon hearing Qin Fan's words, Fang Miaozhu's trembling body could no longer hold, collapsing to her knees, tearfully declaring, "I cannot leave tonight, absolutely cannot step beyond this door. Once I leave, Huang Guantong will know I haven't served you well. I'll be killed, I'll die." In this moment, Fang Miaozhu's tearful appearance was truly captivating, irresistibly charming, rendering any man powerless to resist. Yet, Qin Fan's pursuits in matters of romance were solely focused on dual cultivation. If it didn't involve dual cultivation, he had no interest whatsoever. Fang Miaozhu was merely a mortal being, incapable of achieving dual cultivation with him. Thus, no matter how hard Fang Miaozhu tried, Qin Fan remained indifferent. "He can kill you, and so can I," Qin Fan remarked with a cryptic smile. However, upon hearing this, Fang Miaozhu surprisingly showed no fear. Instead, she crawled towards Qin Fan on the ground. This posture was incredibly seductive, even suggestive of allowing oneself to be taken advantage of. "I understand your intentions very well. You're indeed beautiful. But you're also aware of your own impurity." "I have no interest," Qin Fan shook his head, continuing, "with your status, you can easily find women better and cleaner than me. But in this entertainment circle, with all its hidden rules, I too wish to stay pure. However, for fame, for acting roles, I can only choose this path." Qin Fan remained unmoved by Fang Miaozhu's words, then added, "Xiang Shui seems to like you a lot. If she enters the entertainment circle, help her like you did Xie Shutong. If she performs well, your resources won't be any less than Xie Shutong's." "Really?" Fang Miaozhu was astonished by Qin Fan's words. "Of course, I keep my word," Qin Fan assured. Promoting Xiang Shui in advertisements would be fine, but entering the entertainment circle, with its moral complexities, could pose significant problems for Xiang Shui, given her stubborn nature. Qin Fan couldn't constantly be by her side, so it was best to have a backup plan. Nevertheless, Xiang Shui should prioritize her cultivation. No matter how well protected she is, personal strength is paramount, Qin Fan pondered inwardly. The night passed quickly. The next day, Fang Miaozhu departed at an appropriate time, while Qin Fan remained in the hotel, awaiting news from Lu Pingzhou. Today was the deadline for He Zhongji to hand over all assets of the Mo Shandao lineage. While waiting, Qin Fan dialed Jiang Qingning's number. "Qin Fan, are you enjoying yourself in Huandao City?" Upon connecting, Jiang Qingning's cheerful voice immediately sounded, "It's all right. I called you this time for something," Qin Fan replied, then proceeded to recount the events that transpired in Huandao City to Jiang Qingning. "So you've taken over the Lu family's assets, as well as those of the Mo Shandao, totaling nearly 3 trillion? Jiang Qingning was unable to calm herself after hearing this, repeatedly confirming that Qin Fan hadn't deceived her before finally believing. That's correct. But there's a practical issue now. There's no representative here, so I thought of you coming over, Qin Fan stated. I couldn't possibly leave Tianqin Corporation unattended to go to Huandao City, Jiang Qingning immediately replied. The future of Tianqin Corporation holds even greater promise than those assets in Huandao City. With the products provided by Qin Fan, the assets could easily surpass trillions in a few years. More importantly, Tianqin Corporation is Qin Fan's own flesh and blood. How could Jiang Qingning neglect her own son and tend to the adopted one? I understand your concerns, so you can recommend a reliable person to come over, Qin Fan suggested. Recommend someone to you? Jiang Qingning fell into thought at his words. After a while, Jiang Qingning's voice came through, Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan? Are you sure? Qin Fan asked in surprise. In fact, Lu Yuan is my classmate at the Wharton School overseas, Jiang Qingning suddenly revealed. Your classmate? You have such a relationship? Qin Fan was somewhat astonished. Yes, we were classmates, though our relationship was average, and we didn't communicate much. But Lu Yuan's abilities are widely recognized. Managing your assets in Huandao City would be entirely within her capabilities, so I recommend her, Jiang Qingning explained. I am her enemy. I can subdue her by various means, but I cannot keep an eye on her at all times. If she underperforms, I'll have to kill her, but by then, the damage would have been done, Qin Fan stated. You've robbed her of her youth, turned her into an old woman, and the Lu family was destroyed because of her. Those of the Lu family will never let her off easily. She's probably living a life worse than death right now, Jiang Qingning pointed out. If you bring her back now, how do you think she'll react? Jiang Qingning asked. Devotedly, Qin Fan replied promptly. Yes, so you can certainly have Lu Yuan as your representative, Jiang Qingning said with a smile. You really know how to manipulate people's hearts, Qin Fan chuckled. I'm just going with the flow, and I'd rather capture your heart, Jiang Qingning confessed without hesitation. Qin Fan could only smile helplessly at her words, without responding. Seeing Qin Fan's lack of response, Jiang Qingning wasn't at all upset. Instead, she continued, but I think you don't need to rush to find Lu Yuan. Let her experience a few more days of miserable life. When you rescue her later, she'll be even more grateful to you. Qin Fan agreed, deciding to follow Jiang Qingning's advice and wait a few more days before contacting Lu Yuan. Then they chatted for a while until Lu Pingzhou's call came in. Naturally, Qin Fan switched over. Master Qin, there's someone who wants to see you, to buy something, Lu Pingzhou's voice came through the phone. Buy something? What is it? Qin Fan inquired. It's an artifact from the Mo Shindao collection. Both Master Gu and I have examined it closely and found nothing special, but we're still uncertain, so we're notifying Master Qin, Lu Pingzhou explained. I'll come over immediately. Qin Fan hung up the phone and promptly made his way to the address. Chapter 205, then accept the favor now. Half an hour later, Qin Fan arrived at a mansion belonging to the Mo Shindao. The mansion had a quaint charm, occupying a large area, a testament to the wealth and status of its owner in a place as scarce as Huandao. Mo Shindao had served the upper echelons of Huandao for decades, amassing a staggering fortune, estimated to be close to trillions. In addition to these assets, as a cultivator of great attainment, Mo Shindao undoubtedly possessed numerous treasures whose value couldn't be easily quantified with money. And most of these treasures were housed within this mansion. Upon arrival at the mansion, Qin Fan was met by Lu Pingzhou and Gu Santong, who had been waiting for him. Master Qin. Seeing Qin Fan, both of them hurried over to greet him. What's the background of the other party? What are they interested in? Qin Fan immediately inquired upon seeing them. On the way there, Qin Fan had speculated that Lu Pingzhou and Gu Santong had asked him to come not because they were uncertain about the treasures but because the background of the visitor was significant, and they dared not refuse, so they could only invite Qin Fan over in this manner. He's a prince from Britain, Lu Pingzhou said somewhat bitterly. That prince's interest in the treasures is fake, his true aim is to meet you, Gu Santong added with a hint of awkwardness. In Gu Santong's eyes, Qin Fan was a grandmaster in the realm of cultivation, so he dared not deceive him. However, the visitor this time did indeed have a significant background, and they could only act as they did. Soon, led by the two, Qin Fan entered the hall. In the hall, Qin Fan saw three people. One of them was He Zhongji, the senior disciple of Mo Shindao. From Yi Zhongji, Xin Fan sensed a murderous intent, something he had never felt from him before, indicating that the other two had given Yi Zhongji the courage. The other two were a fair-skinned, handsome young man dressed in gentleman's attire, accompanied by a sturdy middle-aged white man. White man's eyes were as sharp as an eagle's, and surprisingly, he was wearing a set of knight's armor, standing beside the young man like a guardian knight. "This is Mr. Xin, isn't it? You're a bit different from what I imagined," the British prince said to Xin Fan as he remained seated, his tone vaguely tinged with arrogance. Xin Fan didn't answer but walked over to the sofa and sat down, crossing his legs. "Speak, what business do you have with me?" "Mr. Xin, let me introduce myself first. My name is Graham Hawke, and you may call me Prince Graham. And this person next to me is Kent, a fourth-rank knight. By the way, you may not understand what a fourth-rank knight is. In your terms, it's akin to a grandmaster," Graham explained with a simple introduction to Xin Fan. "Let's get to the point." "I don't have time to waste with you," Xin Fan said, not particularly fond of the fair-skinned man. "Mr. Xin, congratulations on becoming the first person in Huandao City. You now have the qualification to serve us," Prince Graham said to Xin Fan in a condescending tone, as if bestowing a favor upon him. "The qualification to serve you?" Xin Fan couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of the statement, as if speaking to a fool. "That's right. Emotion Dao used to be the first in Huandao City, but we looked down on it, as well as all the wealthy people in Huandao City. It wasn't until you killed Emotion Dao that I finally saw someone worthy," Prince Graham continued. "What do you want me to do then?" Xin Fan wanted to know the other party's intentions and thus asked. "Mr. Xin, do you think being the first person in Huandao City means you've reached the pinnacle?" Prince Graham's emerald eyes stared at Xin Fan as he asked. "Of course not," Xin Fan replied. "That's right. Huandao City is an international metropolis, but it's still smell as the first person in Huandao City. You're like a local king of a small hill. Now, I'm giving you a chance to step onto a higher level. How about it?" Prince Graham smiled at Xin Fan with a hint of contempt. Listening to this, Xin Fan felt the other party was rather foolish and didn't even want to respond, but still asked, "What level?" "A level much higher than being the first person in Huandao. It will allow you to command several cities and become a regional lord," Graham explained. "In this era, who still has regional lords?" Xin Fan felt like he was talking to an idiot. "We'll make sure it happens in the future," Prince Graham declared. "In the future?" Xin Fan asked curiously. "That's right. Xia country is a huge whale that threatens us, so we white nations have formed an offensive and defensive alliance with the aim of dismantling this whale. There's a saying, when the whale falls, all things thrive. So, as long as you pledge allegiance to us, you will gain everything you've never even dreamed of." Graham spoke confidently to Xin Fan, outlining various global trends, firmly asserting that everything would unfold as he said after dismantling Xia country. He also promised Xin Fan various benefits, money, beautiful women, power, and methods to aid cultivation, covering all aspects. "Mr. Xin, as long as you cooperate with us, pledge your allegiance, you can have it all," Prince Graham said, producing a medal. "This is a knighthood bestowed upon you by our king. Only the head of Huandao City is qualified to receive this honor. Now, you're an exception. Our king has bestowed this medal upon you." Xin Fan didn't accept the medal. Instead, he spoke up, "You've said so much, I've heard about the so-called global threats. I may not understand the distant history of the Earth very well, but I've witnessed a lot in recent times. For the past 200 years, the most warlike, murderous, and plunderous actions have been perpetrated by your Western white people. Not only in the past, but even now, you continue to pillage and plunder. How can you claim to be the world's greatest threat? Xia country neither steals nor robs. How does it become the world's greatest threat?" No, Mr. Xin, you're joking. Our pillaging and plundering are spreading civilization. Without our pillaging and plundering, how could our Western civilization spread to the entire world? How can this be considered a threat? It's a blessing, a great blessing." Prince Graham waved his hand dismissively at Xin Fan. "Pillaging and plundering are blessings for you Western white people?" Xin Fan couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity. "Yes, for us Western white people, being pillaged and plundered by us is a kind of blessing," Prince Graham said. "Then accept your blessing now." At the moment when Prince Graham's words fell, Qin Fan's expression turned cold, and his right hand moved swiftly toward Prince Graham, ready to strike. Qin Fan grasped with one hand, conjuring a colossal palm shadow aimed at Prince Graham. At the moment the palm shadow appeared, the knight guarding Prince Graham moved in an instant. He swiftly appeared beside Prince Graham, clenched his right fist, and struck fiercely toward the palm shadow. A boom! A resounding explosion echoed, powerful shockwaves instantly rippling out, sending Gu Santon, Lu Pingzhou, and He Zhongji flying. The knight stood still, exuding a divine golden light, his gaze sharp as he addressed Qin Fan with a threatening aura. How dare you lay hands on the prince? The only outcome for you is death. Kent, let's be gentlemen, Prince Graham interjected calmly. Kent slowly withdrew his hand upon hearing this, his eyes still fixed on Qin Fan, warning him that if he dared to strike again, he wouldn't hold back. So strong, Kent is so strong. I've never seen such a powerful martial artist before, Lu Pingzhou remarked, his expression filled with astonishment as he got up. He might already be a transcendent martial artist, Gu Santong added, equally shocked. The strength to withstand Qin Fan's palm likely indicated transcendent prowess. Qin, this shows there's always someone better out there, He Zhongji chimed in. Having killed Mo Shindao, Qin Fan harbored resentment yet couldn't seek revenge. Unexpectedly, Prince Graham appeared. He hoped Qin Fan and the prince wouldn't come to terms, resulting in Kent, the knight, killing Qin Fan. Your armor is quite interesting, Qin Fan said, slightly surprised. His palm strike was just deflected by a slight use of force. Indeed, he was caught off guard. However, he could see that it was due to the knight's armor, imbued with potent strength, amplifying Kent's power to shatter his palm shadow. This armor was blessed by the high priest of the Holy See and baptized with the sacred power of the Night King. It's an A-grade equipment, Prince Graham said calmly. A-grade equipment? Qin Fan furrowed his brows slightly, silently assessing the approximate level of the armor, roughly equivalent to a mid-stage foundation building level magical weapon in the cultivation world. It might not mean much in the realm of cultivation, but it was impressive on Earth. You've witnessed Kent's strength just now. If you're smart, you should know how to choose, Prince Graham said complacently, leaning back on the sofa. To kill is divine, Qin Fan's strength is undoubtedly formidable. Since he came to meet, how could he not anticipate Qin Fan's action? It's certain what kind of strength it is, he is very aware. Relying on the armor and weapons on his body, it's enough to kill a peak grandmaster. As for saying Qin Fan is in the divine realm, that's simply a joke. The divine realm, such an elusive existence, is only attainable by the pontiff and the Night King of the Holy See. These individuals have surpassed a century on the path of cultivation, and have abundant resources from the Holy See to support them. It's laughable that a mere cultivator from Xia Kingdom dares to claim the divine realm. And just now, Graham had already perceived that Qin Fan is at most a peak grandmaster, incapable of matching Kent. Choice? Qin Fan chuckled at the remark. My choice remains what you call a blessing. It seems, Mr. Qin is somewhat stubborn, then I must enlighten Mr. Qin, Prince Graham remarked with a faint smile. At the moment his words fell, Knight Kent immediately moved. His eyes emitted a fierce light like that of a wolf, and the golden brilliance on his armor shimmered. As he clenched his right hand, his body lunged forward, delivering a punch towards Qin Fan. With this punch, even the void was illuminated by a golden fist imprint, resembling a seal of judgment. The might unleashed by this punch was earth-shattering, as if space itself was tearing apart beneath it, accompanied by countless explosions of air in the atmosphere, sounding like bursting tires. This is the Holy Fist seal of the Holy See, a punch capable of killing a peak grandmaster. Prince Graham nodded slightly as he sat. Kent's actual strength was only mid-tier grandmaster, but at this moment, he unleashed his full power, augmented by the enhancement of his A-grade equipment. The force of this punch was definitely that of a peak grandmaster. And with this punch, Kent had already killed 3 peak grandmasters before. Now, it would be the 4th. As Kent unleashed this punch, an incomparable intent surged forth, filling the entire hall. The house trembled slightly, and at this moment, Kent appeared like a golden giant. Towering Qin Fan, on the other hand, appeared infinitely small, like an ant facing a giant, utterly defenseless. Too powerful, truly deserving of being the strongest knight of the Western Holy See. He Zhongji exclaimed in astonishment. As a grandmaster of Taoism, the might of this punch alarmed him. He believed that even his master, Mo Shindao, would be unable to withstand this punch and could only evade it, then find a way to counter it. Seeing this scene, Lu Pingzhou and Gu Santong were shocked. They never expected Knight Kent to be this strong. However, Qin Fan remained seated on the sofa, unmoved and unflinching. Seeking death. Kent's eyes were filled with killing intent as he uttered a low growl. He believed that this punch of his could definitely kill Qin Fan. Thunk! A dull thud resounded. Under everyone's gaze, Kent's fist struck Qin Fan's chest. Kent's punch was enough to pierce the armor of a heavy armored vehicle, but when it landed on Qin Fan, he remained unmoved, still seated, and even grinned just casually took a palm. Do you all really think that's all my strength? Qin Fan grinned and then, to the incredulous eyes of everyone, lightly raised his hand and slapped Kent's head. Smack! A crisp sound rang out, and Kent's head was instantly smashed into his body. Even his sturdy body was slapped into the ground by Qin Fan, sinking into the pit and disappearing. Silence fell over the entire venue. Everyone was dumbfounded. Prince Graham, witnessing this scene, almost pressed down the armrest of his sofa. A knight of the Fourth Order like Kent, whose punch was enough to kill a grandmaster, was just slapped to death by Qin Fan. This is impossible. Prince Graham trembled as he spoke. Killing is a kind of blessing. What are you afraid of? Qin Fan's gaze fell on Graham as he spoke lightly. Chapter 207, Casting a Long Line to Catch a Big Fish. You said, to kill is a kind of blessing, so what are you afraid of? Qin Fan sat calmly on the sofa, looking at the terrified Prince Graham. I am a prince of Britain. I warn you, if you harm me, it will cause an international incident that you cannot handle. Prince Graham steadied himself, speaking. Kneel down to speak. Qin Fan didn't answer, but spoke instead. I am a prince of Britain. It's impossible for me to kneel to you, let alone to a person from Xia Kingdom. Prince Graham's face flushed red at once upon hearing this. Qin Fan looked at Prince Graham, his eyes icy, and gave a cold snort. In an instant, Graham's legs went weak, and he knelt directly on the ground, his proud head buried in the carpet, prostrating himself. The other three looked at Qin Fan in astonishment. Too strong, the true strength of Mr. Qin is beyond estimation. Gu Santong was amazed. This is the future #1 on the Tianbang, too powerful. Lu Pingzhou exclaimed in fear, could it be that in his battle with my master, he didn't even use his true strength? He Zhongju's revengeful thoughts completely vanished. Now, I'm going to ask you a few questions, answer honestly. Qin Fan looked at Prince Graham kneeling on the ground and said. I. Prince Graham knelt on the ground, his voice trembling. He couldn't believe things had turned out this way. This time he was fully confident that he would recruit Qin Fan under his banner. Then, using Huandao City as a springboard, he could enter Xia Kingdom. Xia Kingdom's national strength was currently second only to the world, making it very difficult to smuggle various prohibited items and people in. Huandao City, on the other hand, was a breakthrough point. As long as he could subdue Qin Fan, everything would become simple. But then, Qin Fan directly killed Kent. Kent was a knight of the Fourth Order of the Templar Knights. With his equipment, his strength was extremely formidable in Xia Kingdom. He could easily rank in the top 20 of the Xianmen Tianbang. As a result, he was slapped to death with one palm. Was this Mr. Qin a monster? You mentioned the Pontiff and the Night King just now, are they very strong? Qin Fan asked. Of course they're powerful. The Pontiff's strength, in Xia Kingdom's terms, is at the Taoism divine realm. With a single finger, he can split the sea. And the Night King is at the martial divine realm, his single sword can cut through a city. If you're sensible, release me now. Graham knelt on the ground, extremely unwilling. Kneeling on the ground was already a great humiliation for him. If this were to spread to Britain, he would be nailed to the shame pillar of the royal family. Then can you meet the Pontiff and the Night King? Qin Fan asked. Although I am noble as a prince, I am not qualified to meet the Pontiff and the Night King, but as long as something happens to me, my father and mother will definitely have the Holy See send a punishment team to make you pay the price, Prince Graham said. Ultimately, you're just a useless fellow. Qin Fan sighed at his words. He had previously thought that the simplest way to find the missing fragments of the Chaos Pearl was to find strong individuals on Earth. Now, he had received news about the Pontiff and the Night King. As a result, this man couldn't summon the Night King and the Pontiff. It can only be said that he's a waste. And as soon as his words fell, Qin Fan raised his hand and pointed into the air. Prince Graham's head exploded and he died instantly. Wasting time, Qin Fan killed Prince Graham as if killing an ant, then stood up and said to Gu Santong and Lu Pingzhou, let's go, take me to see the collection. Gu Santong and Lu Pingzhou came to their senses and hurried forward. Mr. Qin, was it actually he Zhongji who deliberately lured Prince Graham here? Gu Santong asked immediately after approaching. Qin Fan glanced at He Zhongji and said, "Get lost." He Zhongji looked astonished. He didn't expect Qin Fan to let him go. Immediately, he ran off with resentment. Mr. Qin, why did you let him go? If he leaves, he will definitely inform the British royal family about the deaths of Prince Graham and Kent, and then I fear. Lu Pingzhou said immediately. I want to kill the Night King and the Pontiff. If the news doesn't spread, how will they come? Qin Fan replied. Since Graham couldn't summon the Night King and the Pontiff, he could only cast a long line to catch a big fish himself. Letting this news reach the British royal family, they would send people for revenge, and then he would continue to kill. When he had killed enough, the so-called Night King and the Pontiff would definitely come. Lu Pingzhou and Gu Santong were stunned to hear Qin Fan's thoughts. The Pontiff and the Night King were figures from over 200 years ago, already stepping into the legendary divine realm. Their status was extremely noble, and Prince Graham couldn't even see them. Moreover, to make the two of them take action, how many people would have to be killed? Would they slaughter the entire British royal family? The two dared not think further, it was too ruthless. Then, Gu Santong and Lu Pingzhou took Qin Fan to see the collection left by Emotion Dao. There's nothing good here, let's go. Qin Fan looked around and lost interest. Everything was too ordinary, there wasn't even anything worth his attention. Gu Santong and Lu Pingzhou showed surprise at his words. In their eyes, each item was priceless, each one could fetch at least 3 or 4 million in auction. However, as Qin Fan walked out of the collection room, he suddenly stopped in his tracks and saw a vase about 10 centimeters high placed in the distance. The vase had been carefully polished, but it still looked old, with some cracks visible. Seeing Qin Fan staring at the vase, the two naturally knew that Qin Fan must have taken a liking to it. Mr. Qin, I know this vase. It was bought by Emotion Dao at an auction 5 years ago for 500 million. It's said to be a magical instrument, Gu Santong introduced. I heard about this incident. It caused quite a sensation at the time, but it was later confirmed that this vase was actually fake, Lu Pingzhou said. This matter spread widely, causing many people to realize that Emotion Dao also had moments of oversight. Because he didn't know how to use it. Qin Fan walked over quickly, opened the glass cabinet containing the vase, and then took out the vase. It's severely damaged. Did it go through a great battle? Qin Fan looked at the fine cracks on the vase's body. Mr. Qin, what is this? Gu Santong asked curiously. This is the void vase, Qin Fan said, holding the vase. Void vase? Gu Santong and Lu Pingzhou were full of doubt. Qin Fan didn't explain, but walked out with the vase, arriving in the living room. Gu Santong and the others also followed Qin Fan to the hall. They saw Qin Fan raise his hand and instantly pull Kent, who had been thrown into a deep pit, out. As he was pulled out, Kent's body ignited into flames, then crackling sounds rang out as his knight's armor fell to the ground. Qin Fan raised his hand and grabbed, all the armor flew towards him, then all flew into the vase in his hand with a swish. Gu Santong and Lu Pingzhou stared wide-eyed at what they saw. Chapter 208, The Treasured Bottle. Acceptable, the basic storage function is still operational, remarked Qin Fan, satisfaction flickering across his countenance as he witnessed the armor being completely absorbed into the bottle. In the midst of conversation, the void bottle instantly diminished to merely the size of half a little finger, then smoothly nestled into Qin Fan's pocket. Truly a treasure, comparable even to the sword storage gourd of the hidden sword sect, exclaimed Gu Santong as he observed. A mustard seed container, indeed, a space formed within the bottle itself, a mythical artifact, echoed Lu Pingzhou, equally astonished. Listening to their discourse, Qin Fan discerned the limitations of their knowledge. You handle the subsequent matters, I shall take my leave, Qin Fan stated without elaboration, knowing that even if he explained, their understanding would remain constrained. This bottle was not merely a receptacle for storage, he dubbed it the Void Bottle, a mere moniker, for it was, in fact, a spatial treasure. However, storage was likely its most inferior function. When Qin Fan inspected it earlier, if intact, this bottle would have been an astonishing treasure. Alas, due to severe damage, it now likely only retained its storage capability. Nevertheless, even the remaining storage function was quite formidable. Pills, spiritual herbs stored within it would neither lose their potency nor decay. In the cultivation world, there were few treasures capable of preserving the potency of pills, yet even in its damaged state, this bottle possessed such a function, illustrating its terror when intact. Previously in the hands of Emotion Dao, it was akin to a pearl obscured by dust, relegated to a mere ornament. Now in Xin Fan's possession, it could serve as a treasure for his storage needs. When he arrived on Earth, pursued by numerous deity-transforming experts, he exhausted various means to escape. Even his storage bag ruptured, leaving him without a storage artifact on Earth. However, now he had one, enabling him to carry essential items conveniently. Upon returning to the hotel, Xin Fan once again retrieved the void bottle, infusing it with mana to enlarge it. With each infusion of mana, the bottle expanded continuously, not limited to its original height of 10 centimeters, until it reached the ceiling, prompting Xin Fan to cease the infusion of mana. Gazing at the enlarged bottle, he couldn't help but remark, Earth is indeed intriguing, here lie remnants of the primordial chaos pearl and now such an astonishing bottle. It seems Earth is far from being as simple as it appears. He had a premonition, if this bottle were at its peak, infusing all his mana into it would likely amplify it thousands, even tens of thousands of times. If he were to utilize this bottle for attack, its power might surpass even that of the deity transforming stage. Regrettably, the bottle was severely damaged, continuing to infuse mana into it might cause it to explode directly. I must find a way to repair this treasure, Xin Fan mused inwardly. There were several methods of restoration, such as recrafting, but Xin Fan felt incapable of doing so. He had never encountered the material of the bottle before, forcefully recrafting it might backfire. Despite his exceptional skills in refining artifacts, unparalleled in the cultivation world, he still worried about ruining it through recrafting. If it is indeed a treasure, it must possess sentience. The best method of repair would be nurturing. I will keep it by my side, gradually nurturing it with my own mana. Over time, it will undoubtedly yield results. Ultimately, Xin Fan opted for the most prudent but time-consuming method, nurturing. However, time was inconsequential to cultivators like Xin Fan. He was currently in the nascent soul stage, with a lifespan of at least 1500 years. Upon entering the deity transforming stage, he could extend it to 5,000 years, and beyond that, tens of thousands of years. Eventually transcending tribulation to become an immortal would grant him hundreds of thousands of years. Thus, time was of no concern. The next step is to wait for Xiang Shui to finish her audition and choose a suitable time to meet Lu Yuan, Xin Fan remarked as he retrieved the bottle, shrinking it back to its original size. Xiang Shui was currently auditioning, and the outcome was already known to him. She had become the leading actress. Thus, he only needed to await her conclusion. Afterwards, it was a matter of selecting an appropriate time to meet Lu Yuan. In the ensuing days, Xin Fan immersed himself in cultivation within the confines of the hotel. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. At that moment, Xin Fan's phone rang, and upon checking, he saw it was Lin Qingyan calling. Xin Fan, what exactly happened? How did Xiang Shui become the leading actress? Lin Qingyan's voice came through the phone, filled with astonishment. It's because Xiang Shui excelled and caught the attention of Wanqing, Xin Fan replied nonchalantly. Why do you sound unsurprised at all? Did you already know? Lin Qingyan detected the lack of surprise in Xin Fan's tone and immediately inquired in a puzzled manner. Then let me say, it's because of me that Xiang Shui became the leading actress. Do you believe that? Xin Fan stated. As Xin Fan's words trailed off, silence descended over the phone. Observing Lin Qingyan's silence, Xin Fan was somewhat surprised. In the past, Lin Qingyan would have undoubtedly exclaimed, "Believe you? Not in a million years." However, now there was silence. I don't know, Lin Qingyan's voice came after a moment. You should contact Xiang Shui and ask her directly, Xin Fan suggested. Xiang Shui is currently unreachable. Now that she has become the leading actress of this film, there are many things to attend to. She is a prominent contracted artist, and now she has become the leading actress of Wanqing's investment film. There will be many tasks ahead, and it's highly likely that I will join the investment, Lin Qingyan explained. Then go ahead and invest, Xin Fan replied. Your company's recent performance is outstanding, finances should not be an issue. When will you come back? Lin Qingyan didn't answer directly but asked instead. Xiang Shui wouldn't be able to return in the short term since there were many contracts to sign. Let's wait a few more days, perhaps I'll return with Xiang Shui, Xin Fan suggested. Oh, by the way, Grandma has returned to Jiangcheng. She has been wanting to see you, Lin Qingyan said. Has Dr. Catherine examined her? Xin Fan inquired. Yes, she has. Dr. Catherine said Grandma's condition isn't very good, so I thought you should come back sooner, Lin Qingyan said with a deeply despondent tone. I'll return as soon as possible, Qin Fan responded. It wasn't that Yang Li couldn't be cured, rather, she wanted to let nature take its course, perhaps feeling that continuing to live in the world held little significance for her. This made Qin Fan see Yang Li as truly magnanimous. After hanging up the phone, Qin Fan checked the entertainment news on his mobile. The news of Xiang Shui becoming the leading actress in the film was explosive, sparking jealousy from countless individuals and inciting many malicious comments, even suspicions of whether Xiang Shui obtained the role through improper means. However, the staunch support from Se Shadong and Fang Miaozhu rendered those envious individuals speechless. The original female lead and second female lead even spoke up, expressing their willingness to serve as Xiang Shui's foils. Furthermore, Wanqing's official announcement left no room for doubt as for whether Xiang Shui was capable. With her stubborn and diligent personality, Qin Fan believed she could handle it. It's time to meet Lu Yuan, Qin Fan murmured as he turned off his phone and left the hotel. Chapter 209, The Watchful Tiger. Within the Tulip Club in Huandao City, the epitome of exclusivity, accessible only to members by invitation, the most luxurious chamber boasted opulent decor, with a grand circular table positioned at its center. Seated around it were several individuals engaged in lively discourse, their glasses clinking as they conversed, each attended to by alluring women clad in revealing attire, meticulously selected for their exceptional beauty, rivaling that of minor celebrities. However, these women now served the men at the table akin to mere handmaidens, especially the man seated at the head, who was treated with an almost imperial deference. Huang Jingyang is dead. Though the obituary claims it was due to a sudden heart attack, it's clearly a fabrication, one of the men remarked. Indeed, despite Huang Guantong's efforts to suppress the news, rumors have still leaked out. Huang Jingyang was murdered, another affirmed. We know who did it. Even someone as ruthless as Huang Guantong must fear this individual, considering their background, added another, prompting a discussion on recent events. Suddenly, the conversation shifted to a certain individual. It was Qin Fan. What? Qin Fan, the same Qin Fan? No wonder. Even if Huang Guantong lost his son, he could only swallow his anger, the attendees murmured, their expressions darkening. These individuals were all affluent figures in Huandao City. Qin Fan's reputation as a cultivator preceded him, and the mention of his name sent shivers down their spines. Qin Fan truly knows no bounds. Why doesn't the Huandao police take action against him? One person exclaimed indignantly. Qin Fan is from the mainland of Xia country. He won't linger in Huandao City for long, so there's no need to worry, the man at the head of the table remarked. Wu Xiao, in 3 days, the Lu Corporation will hold a shareholder meeting to replace members of the board of directors. Do you think Qin Fan will attend? Another at the table inquired. The attendees were all shareholders of the Lu Corporation, and the man addressed as Wu Xiao was the young master of the Wu family, Wu Junsheng. The rest of you are afraid of him? Wu Junsheng asked. Whether he comes or not doesn't matter. Qin Fan, also known as Qin Jinren, is proficient in the Tao of martial arts. He knows nothing about business. Even if I handed him a ledger, he wouldn't understand it. So, why worry? As long as we provide him with his dividends on time, he won't disrupt us, right? He wouldn't even know how to falsify accounts. When the time comes, we can slowly transfer his shares and assets into our hands. With nearly 300 billion worth of assets from the Lu and Emotionel lineages, we stand to gain immensely once he departs. So, if it weren't for Qin Fan, we wouldn't enjoy such enormous benefits, Wu Junsheng explained casually, taking a sip of wine before continuing. This Qin Fan, he won't stay in Huandao City for long. Once he leaves, his assets will be under our management. Think about it, the Lu family, coupled with the Emotionel lineage, have assets nearing 300 billion. Once he's gone, we can slowly transfer these shares and assets into our hands, while he's content with his dividends. So, this time, if it weren't for Qin Fan, we wouldn't be able to enjoy such great benefits. Ha ha ha. The laughter of those present echoed throughout the room. In the past, the Lu family controlled 50% of the shares, taking the lion's share of the company's dividends each time. But now, things were different. Though Qin Fan possessed formidable strength, it was confined to the realms of martial and cultivation arts in the business world. To put it bluntly, he was a neophyte. Even if they presented him with false accounts, Qin Fan wouldn't comprehend them. Thus, the lion's share of his enormous annual dividends would end up in their pockets. Here's to our prosperous future. Wu Junsheng raised his glass high, addressing the gathering. To our prosperous future. The crowd also raised their glasses high, proclaiming loudly. This time, Xin Fan's appearance was a calamity for both the Lu family and the Emotiondao lineage, but for the capital tycoons of Huandao City, it was akin to a stroke of luck falling from the heavens. With the sudden change in leadership at the Lu Corporation and the demise of the Emotiondao lineage, both stocks and assets of the Lu and Mo families plummeted, almost hitting rock bottom within days. Hence, as long as they manipulated things properly, these assets would fall into their hands, especially for the Wu family, as the second largest shareholder. With adept manipulation, they could bite off the largest chunk and rise as the new aristocracy of Huandao City. At this moment, Xin Fan sat in a Rolls-Royce Phantom, chauffeured by Lu Pingzhou. While Xin Fan indeed lacked knowledge in business operations, he was keenly aware that he needed a trustworthy proxy in his absence, someone who would wholeheartedly represent his interests. Otherwise, everything in Huandao City would fall into the hands of others once he departed, a scenario he absolutely would not allow. Lao Lu, this is the information I've gathered about Miss Lu Yuan. Lu Pingzhou handed over a dossier to Xin Fan. Xin Fan opened it, revealing the circumstances of Lu Yuan after the fall of the Lu family. Following the collapse of the Lu family, those remaining considered Lu Yuan their enemy, subjecting her to abuse and expulsion whenever she appeared. Eventually, Lu Yuan had no choice but to seek refuge with her maternal relatives. However, upon encountering her mother's family, she was treated like a pariah and driven away. They even emigrated to the Maple Leaf Country, severing all ties with Lu Yuan completely. Is she now destitute on the streets? Xin Fan inquired upon reaching the end of the dossier. Yes, my men saw her sleeping under a bridge last night, in a pitiful state, Lu Pingzhou confirmed. Why didn't you help her? Xin Fan asked with a smile. I dared not, Lu Pingzhou replied immediately. Lu Yuan is an enemy of Qinzhenren. No one in Huandao City dares to accept or assist her. Let's go, take me to see her, Xin Fan instructed Lu Pingzhou promptly. Soon, Lu Pingzhou started the car, and approximately an hour later, he parked under a bridge. Stop the car. Xin Fan, upon arriving, had already sensed Lu Yuan's presence with his divine sense and instructed Lu Pingzhou to stop from afar. At this moment, Lu Yuan, dressed in rags, was curled up in a corner, surrounded by several fashionable and beautifully dressed women who were taunting and harassing her. Chapter 210, A Chance. Isn't this Miss Lu Yuan from the Lu family? How come she's sleeping under the bridge? A stylish woman glanced at the huddled figure of Lu Yuan against the wall, displaying an air of haughtiness. This woman, named by Suwa, is Lu Yuan's confidant and also a scion of the upper echelons of Huandao City's society. However, she harbored jealousy towards Lu Yuan. Before Lu Yuan fell into such a state, she was indeed remarkable. Her appearance was beyond reproach, regarded as a top beauty in Huandao City since childhood, groomed as an elite and graduating from a prestigious overseas university. Upon her return to Huandao City, she founded her own brand and became a renowned female CEO in the city's business circle, attracting numerous young talents who envied her naturally. This made the upper-class young ladies of Huandao City jealous. Now that she has fallen from grace, both friends and foes are coming to kick her when she's down. Look at her appearance, so old and ugly. How can you still go on living? If it were me, I would have jumped off a building long ago. Look at yourself, in this state, not even fit to be a prostitute. Other fashionable women also joined in, continuously ridiculing Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan didn't retort at all. She didn't dare to. She just curled up in the corner, eyes closed, tears streaming down her face. Wow, Lu Yuan, are you eating food from the trash can? Suddenly, Bai Suwa spotted a lunchbox nearby and immediately made a disgusted face. Lu Yuan heard this and hurriedly shook her head. No. Of course, this wasn't from the trash. She passed by a restaurant where a family hadn't finished their meal, so she took it before they threw it away. She had really been hungry for too many days. What nutrition is there in that? Here, I just bought some dog food to treat you. Bai Suwa suddenly took out a pack of dog food from her bag and waved it in front of Lu Yuan. Then, she opened the dog food and poured it onto the ground. Other women followed suit, taking out various kinds of pet food and pouring them on the ground. Lu Yuan saw those dog and cat food and couldn't help but swallow saliva unconsciously. She really hadn't eaten enough for many days. Look, she's reacting to this dog food and cat food. Bai Suwa couldn't help but burst into laughter. She's even worse than a dog. This is deserved, but why do I feel so relieved? Other women also joined in the verbal abuse. You've seen enough, you've bullied enough, can you leave now? Lu Yuan cautiously spoke. Leave? Bai Suhua sneered. Lu Yuan, my looks, my figure are no worse than yours. Why do all those men flock around you? Just because you're from the Lu family? Now, you're getting what you deserve. If you want me to leave, eat up all the stuff on the ground, then I'll leave. Otherwise, not only will I not leave, but I'll also call more people to see you like this. Lu Yuan sat there weakly, looking at the dog and cat food piled on the ground, tears constantly falling. She regretted why she had provoked someone like Qin Fan in her cleverness. Now, she didn't understand why she should still be alive. It would be better to die. Eat, quickly eat. Hurry up and eat, we're waiting to take videos and post them online. Those women took out their phones and started taking photos and videos of Lu Yuan. Make way. At this moment, a voice of rebuke came. Who's that? Bai Suhua responded impatiently to the voice, then saw Lu Pingzhou and a handsome young man. What are you doing? Are you here to take videos of Lu Yuan too? Haven't you heard me telling you to move? Lu Pingzhou's face showed a fierce expression as he spoke again. These women were frightened by Lu Pingzhou's ferociousness and quickly stepped back, but they didn't leave. They wanted to see what these two men were up to. Qin Fan walked up to Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan lifted her head and looked at Qin Fan with a complex expression, then smiled bitterly. Are you here to see my miserable state too? This doesn't seem like the demeanor of someone as superior as you. She used to hate Qin Fan very much, but after being abandoned by her family, wandering the streets, and being mocked by her friends, she no longer hated him. Qin Fan let her see that the people around her were all like this. I'm not interested in seeing you like this. Qin Fan looked down at Lu Yuan. I'm not here to mock you. Then what do you want to do? Kill me? That's fine too. I don't have the courage to commit suicide. It would be better if you did it, so I can be relieved sooner. Lu Yuan's lifeless eyes looked at Qin Fan and said. I'm here to give you an opportunity. Qin Fan looked down at Lu Yuan and said indifferently. Opportunity? What opportunity? Lu Yuan was somewhat puzzled. An opportunity for you to return to the pinnacle of Huandao. Qin Fan said. What? Lu Yuan's eyes lit up with disbelief written all over her face. And the other women also showed shocked expressions. Who is this person? Yeah, what does it mean to give Lu Yuan an opportunity to return to the pinnacle of Huandao? Bai Suhua and the others immediately started discussing. He is Mr. Qin, the new owner of the Lu Group. Lu Pingzhou said. These women widened their eyes in disbelief. The person in front of them turned out to be the figure who stirred up the storm in Huandao, Mr. Qin. Lu Yuan looked at Qin Fan. She knew that Qin Fan would do as he said, then said, What do you want? What do you think I want? Qin Fan looked down at Lu Yuan and said, You have one chance to answer now. If you answer correctly, not only will I let you return to the pinnacle of Huandao, but I will also let you regain your youth. Lu Yuan looked at Qin Fan with fiery eyes, her thoughts racing. This was her only chance. After a moment, Lu Yuan said, Loyalty, I will give Mr. Qin absolute loyalty. She had nothing left. The only thing that could move Qin Fan was loyalty, unwavering loyalty. Very good. Qin Fan said. After that, he turned and left. Lu Pingzhou then helped Lu Yuan up and got into the car. Bai Suhua and the others watched the three people leave, feeling like they were doomed. Soon, Qin Fan brought Lu Yuan back to the villa where she used to live. Have a seat. Qin Fan said to Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan sat nervously on the sofa. Then Qin Fan placed a hand on Lu Yuan's head, and a force poured into her body immediately after. Lu Yuan transformed from a despised old woman into a stunning beauty, even more beautiful than before, radiating an extreme charm. So much so that even Lu Yuan herself was shocked to see her current appearance. In 3 days, there will be a shareholders meeting of the Lu Group. Don't disappoint me. Qin Fan said and left, leaving Lu Yuan still in shock. Chapter 211, Return to the summit of the Ring Island. 3 days later, the shareholders meeting of the Lu Corporation was held as scheduled. The conference room was filled with people, including the CEOs, managers, and vice presidents of various major listed companies under the Lu Corporation. Almost everyone who could attend was present. These individuals sat in the conference room, whispering to each other, discussing today's meeting. Meanwhile, Wu Junqing sat calmly on the side, awaiting Qin Fan's arrival. He had never entertained the thought of ousting Qin Fan from the position of chairman, not only because of Qin Fan's formidable strength but also because it was unnecessary. Qin Fan would not stay in the Ring Island for long. Today, his objective was to unite the shareholders and department heads, to compel Qin Fan to compromise and to secure more board positions for his own people. As long as there were enough board seats, once Qin Fan left the Ring Island, the entire group would fall under the control of the Wu family. Then, all assets could be freely utilized, even sold at a low price, transferring everything into the hands of the Wu family effortlessly. We will occupy the vice chairman and board positions. As for those so-called presidents and directors, all key positions will be seized. Qin Fan only needs to collect dividends. Wu Junqing began to fantasize, a satisfied smile appearing on his face. Managing a corporation wasn't about resorting to violence. If Qin Fan dared not to compromise, they would collectively resign, causing the entire group to collapse instantly, eventually leading to its acquisition by others. And if Qin Fan wanted to stabilize the group, he would have to stay in the Ring Island to intimidate them. Otherwise, it would be futile no matter whom he sought for assistance. No one would accept the individuals Qin Fan temporarily rallied. Of course, Wu Junqing had considered the possibility of Qin Fan re-inviting the Lu family. If the Lu family were truly to return, they could indeed stabilize the Lu corporation quickly. However, was it wise to destroy the Lu family painstakingly, only to support them again? Furthermore, the Lu family harbored intense hatred towards Qin Fan now. Once Qin Fan left the Ring Island, the Lu family would resort to various covert actions. Then, all of Qin Fan's efforts would be in vain. What a marvelous day! Seizing the assets of the Lu Corporation today, and then gradually encroaching upon the assets of the Mo family. 300 billion. After this, the Wu family will be the top aristocracy in the Ring Island, Wu Junqing thought with increasing joy, his laughter becoming unrestrained. What's going on? How did she come here? Am I seeing things, or does she look younger and more beautiful than before? At this moment, the entire conference room erupted into chaos, followed by looks of astonishment directed towards the entrance. What's happening? Wu Junqing snapped out of his reverie and turned to look at the entrance. At that moment, he was stunned. He saw a tall, elegantly dressed woman with wavy hair cascading down one side, possessing an extraordinary beauty. She walked into the conference room amidst the followers of many old Lu family members. This woman, with her cold demeanor and noble temperament, resembled a queen. Lu Ziyin. Wu Junqing exclaimed in astonishment upon seeing the woman. Lu Ziyin completely ignored Wu Junqing and went straight to the chairman's seat, saying, "The meeting starts now." Her voice was cold, commanding, akin to that of a queen issuing decrees, instantly silencing the entire room. How is this possible? Isn't she supposed to be an old woman now? Yes, wasn't she taken away and left to wander the streets? How did she recover, and she seems even more beautiful now. Indeed, and why is she here? Isn't she afraid of death? Does she want to be killed by Mr. Qin? Many people couldn't help but whisper. Lu Ziyin, why are you here? Wu Junqing stood up abruptly and questioned Lu Ziyin. You've already been expelled from the Lu Corporation. You have no right to be here. Get out. Lu Ziyin's lips curled into a faint smile at his words, her demeanor natural. Simultaneously, she took out a document and announced loudly, Mr. Qin has signed an appointment letter. From today onwards, I am Mr. Qin's assistant and possess all the powers of the chairman of the Lu Corporation in his absence. At the same time, he has recommended me as the president of the Lu Corporation. Now, let's vote. Who is in favor, and who is against? Lu Ziyin's consecutive statements immediately plunged everyone into silence, none daring to speak out against her objecting. To oppose Mr. Qin. Opposing Mr. Qin would lead to the same fate as the Lu family's cautionary tale. Previously, Wu Junqing had anticipated that Qin Fan would appoint a proxy, but regardless of the proxy, once Qin Fan departed, they would find a way to sideline them. However, Qin Fan unexpectedly invited Lu Ziyin back. Lu Ziyin was originally slated to lead the Lu Corporation, and now she had brought back many old Lu family members. After this, not to mention sidelining Lu Ziyin, it would be fortunate if they weren't swallowed up by her. No one opposes, then it's approved. Let's proceed to the next agenda. Lu Ziyin felt immensely satisfied seeing everyone silent. Even with her father, Lu Yuan, alive, she had never experienced a shareholders meeting without any dissent. In that moment, she deeply felt Qin Fan's terrifying authority. 2 hours later, the meeting concluded, and Lu Yuan stepped out of the conference room. Mr. Wu, what should we do next? We had reached out to many capitals for the previous plan, including numerous overseas capitals. Now that it has failed, it might be difficult to explain, Wu Junsheng's personal secretary asked anxiously as they sat in his car. Wu Junsheng replied expressionlessly, "It's fine. This is just the beginning. Losing a game doesn't mean we've lost entirely. Qin Fan is ruthless in his actions, that news should have spread by now. Our associates over there should be taking action soon." Wu Junsheng's eyes gleamed with determination as a faint smirk appeared on his lips. Lu Yuan, wearing high heels, arrived at the chairman's office and knocked on the door. "Come in," came the voice from inside. Click. Lu Yuan turned the doorknob and entered. Inside, she saw Qin Fan standing with his back to her, gazing out over the entire Ring Island through the French windows. "Mr. Qin, have I disappointed you?" Lu Yuan approached and stood respectfully behind Qin Fan, speaking deferentially. Upon hearing her voice, Qin Fan turned around, took his seat as the chairman, and nodded approvingly at Lu Yuan. "Excellent. You flatter me, Mr. Qin," Lu Yuan said with a stunning smile. She no longer held any hatred towards Qin Fan. Having endured a life akin to hell, Qin Fan had pulled her back from the brink. Now, her loyalty to Qin Fan was unwavering. "Mr. Qin, today I have stabilized the Lu Corporation. Next, I will integrate everything from the Mo family. With these assets, I can increase your shareholding to over 80%. Then, the premier conglomerate in the Ring Island will be born." Lu Yuan then assumed her role as the chairman's assistant and proceeded to inform Qin Fan of her upcoming plans. Qin Fan looked at Lu Yuan and smiled. "Jiang Qingning said you are outstanding, and it seems she wasn't wrong." "Jiang Qingning? Mr. Qin knows Jiang Qingning?" Lu Yuan asked, surprised. "Do you know where your opportunity came from?" Qin Fan asked. "Was it recommended by Jiang Qingning?" Lu Yuan asked curiously. "Indeed, she recommended you. So, because of this opportunity, you can go to Jiangqing to meet her. Both you and she are under my employ," Qin Fan said with a smile. "I didn't expect that," Lu Yuan laughed. "I was planning to return to Jiangqing tomorrow. However, after the shareholders meeting, I understand that some people don't want me to stay any longer, and there are also those in the Ring Island coveting my assets. So, I have decided to stay a few more days. You should continue with your work, and I will clear any obstacles in your path," Qin Fan continued. Chapter 212, The Bloodthirsty Princess. At the Ring Island airport, a private plane touched down, with the staff standing in formation, ready to welcome the imminent arrival. Soon, the cabin door opened, and a man and a woman descended the stairs. The man stood at a towering 1.9 meters, with golden hair and blue eyes, handsome features, and a well-proportioned figure. He wore a casual suit, exuding a friendly demeanor. The woman, likewise possessing golden hair and blue eyes, was strikingly beautiful, standing at 1.8 meters tall. She had a slender figure with curves that were both elegant and alluring. Clad in a dress as red as blood, she walked on red high heels, emitting an aura of icy aloofness. "Hail Princess Mary!" The people below immediately knelt down respectfully as the couple descended the stairs. If the people of Xia country were to witness this scene, they would undoubtedly consider them spineless. Despite the Ring Island having returned to Xia country for many years, these people still couldn't stand up. The woman paid no attention to those kneeling before her, leading the man beside her forward without a glance. Once the woman had walked a distance, those who had knelt down rose to their feet, and a man hurriedly caught up. "Princess, I have arranged the estate for your stay." The man who caught up was none other than Wu Junsheng, displaying extreme obsequiousness towards the princess. Soon, Wu Junsheng led the couple to the estate he had meticulously prepared. "What is the origin of this Qin Fan?" The elegant Mary princess sat on the sofa, her expression frosty as she questioned Wu Junsheng and the members of the Wu family who were present. Meanwhile, the man stood behind the woman, assuming the role of a knight guarding the princess. Reporting to the princess, this Qin Fan hails from the mainland of Xia country. Wu Junsheng proceeded to narrate Qin Fan's background to Princess Mary. He killed Mo Shendao. When Princess Mary heard Wu Junsheng mention that Qin Fan had killed Mo Shendao, her icy expression finally changed. No wonder Prince Graham sought him out. Princess, this man is ruthless. Prince Graham kindly sought his cooperation, only to be killed by him. At this moment, another voice chimed in, belonging to He Zhongji. He Zhongji had assumed that there would be no chance for revenge. However, he hadn't expected Qin Fan to kill Prince Graham and even pass the matter on to the British royal family. To He Zhongji, this was seeking death. Now, the British royal family was truly furious, actually dispatching this bloodthirsty princess, Mary Hark. Very few people in Xia country were aware of the true background of this princess. He Zhongji had followed Mo Shendao for over 30 years. In fact, during those years, Mo Shendao had experienced defeat. It's just that very few knew about that particular failure, and the person who defeated Mo Shendao was none other than the princess known as the Bloodthirsty Princess. This Mary princess appeared to be in her 30s, but in reality, she was well over 50. 15 years ago, she quietly visited Mo Shendao and engaged in a battle with him. Mo Shendao lost. The battle was conducted in secret, known only to a handful. After the event, Mo Shendao uttered a phrase, indeed worthy of someone who has tasted the holy wine, one may aspire to divinity, the realm of grandmasters poses no challenge. He Zhongji was shocked and later investigated what the holy wine was. He found out that the holy wine was a crimson-colored blood wine produced by the Holy Grail within the Holy See. This wine was the holy wine. Those who drank the holy wine and did not die would unlock various potentials, even granting them various extraordinary abilities, thus vastly surpassing others in cultivation. This princess was one who had drunk the holy wine and survived. Her strength had surpassed Mo Shendao's 15 years ago. Her current strength was undoubtedly stronger, and her entry into the realm of divinity was unknown. That Qin Fan would have no chance anymore. I want to see him, arrange it for me. Princess Mary said coldly. Don't worry, princess. Because of your arrival, I will hold a banquet in 3 days. Qin Fan will surely come then, Wu Juncheng flattered Princess Mary. Good. Princess Mary nodded, then added, are the things I want prepared? Ready, Wu Juncheng immediately responded. Present them to me, Princess Mary said promptly. Now. Wu Juncheng's face changed slightly. The princess is tired from her journey and needs replenishment. Present the people now, the knight behind Princess Mary said in a deep voice. Yes. Wu Juncheng immediately agreed, then took out his phone and made a call. Soon, the door of the hall opened, and several adults entered with 12 children. These children, 6 boys and 6 girls, aged 4 to 6, wore cute clothes and had innocent faces filled with worry and confusion as they walked in. Young master, the people you wanted are here, the lead adult said to Wu Juncheng upon entering the hall. This person was a warrior from the Wu family. He had received Wu Juncheng's instructions to bring 12 children aged 4 to 6 from several orphanages to the estate. These children were selected by him from several orphanages. However, he didn't know why these orphans were needed. Princess, take a look, Wu Juncheng said to Princess Mary. In fact, he didn't know why Princess Mary needed these children either. Princess Mary looked at the children standing there, licked her rosy lips, and said, Oriental children are truly captivating. ? The members of the Wu family were puzzled by her words. Did this princess have some strange fetish? Other than these children, everyone else may leave, Princess Mary said to the others. Wu Juncheng nodded and led everyone away, leaving only Princess Mary and the knight. You're adorable. I really like you. Come over and let me take a look, Princess Mary pointed to a boy, revealing an extremely friendly smile and speaking in a gentle tone. The boy was a bit bewildered, but seeing Princess Mary's friendly smile, he also showed an innocent smile and walked over cautiously. When Princess Mary saw the boy approach, she continued with her extremely friendly smile, saying, You're so cute. Let me give you a hug. The boy nodded shyly. Before he came, he was told that if he behaved well tonight, he could leave the orphanage and live a good life. This mansion was so beautiful, and this aunt was so beautiful, would he be adopted? The boy leaned into Princess Mary's embrace quite willingly. So obedient, such an obedient child, he'll definitely go to heaven after death, Princess Mary said with a smile. As she spoke, she reached out and hugged the boy tightly. In an instant, the boy let out an ear-piercing scream. Princess Mary's hands, her eyes red, passed through the boy's body, causing him to be drenched in blood. Soon, the boy's screams stopped, and his body melted, turning into a pool of bright red liquid, all of which was absorbed into Princess Mary's body. Wow! In an instant, the other children let out sharp cries and fled. Hee hee, run, run, I'll catch you. Princess Mary licked her fingers and then got up. Chapter 213, The Unattainable Banquet. In the evening, at the semi-mountain villa of Lu Yuan. Clad in casual attire, her hair tied in a ponytail, Lu Yuan hummed along to popular tunes as she joyfully prepared dinner in the kitchen. At this moment, Lu Yuan was far from being a glamorous and aloof female CEO, she was entirely a virtuous wife at home. Able to grace the grand hall and adept in the kitchen, such was the present Lu Yuan. While preparing dinner, her gaze occasionally drifted towards the dining table. Qin Fan sat at the table, leisurely perusing a stack of documents. These were all intelligence gathered through an extensive network. Although Qin Fan had only been in Huandao City for half a month, he first subdued the Lu family and the Emotiondao lineage, and later even brought the Huang family to their knees. These three forces, from the top aristocrats of Huandao City to the directors of major companies, down to the lower echelons, all had their spies. With such a vast intelligence network, Qin Fan could easily learn about matters in Huandao City, and even many clandestine affairs. For example, the cause of Huang Jingyang's recent death had already spread, and the one who leaked it had been found by Huang Guantong and severely punished. Furthermore, the individual who had been covertly smearing Xiang Shui through the media, only to be eliminated by the forces of the Lu family. In short, almost everything Qin Fan wanted to know could be found within half a day. Mr. Qin, dinner is served. With a smile, Lu Yuan placed the dinner she had personally prepared in front of Qin Fan. These tasks should be left to the servants. You are my agent, you shouldn't be doing such things, Qin Fan said as he took a bite of dinner. Mr. Qin, as I've said, my loyalty to you is absolute. So, from the moment you pulled me back from hell, I have devoted my heart and body entirely to you. Lu Yuan looked at Qin Fan with sincere eyes and said. If previously she harbored a complex psychology when looking at Qin Fan, it was completely gone now. Once, Qin Fan had cast her into hell, turning her into a plague that everyone shunned. But Qin Fan saved her, and now he was the only one she could rely on. Therefore, she had long decided to devote her heart and body entirely to the man before her. Yet, she knew that winning Qin Fan's heart and becoming his woman would be difficult. So, after Qin Fan moved into this villa again, Lu Yuan dismissed all the servants. As long as Qin Fan stayed here, she would serve him wholeheartedly as a virtuous wife. This way, even if she couldn't win Qin Fan's heart, she could make him remember her. Qin Fan smiled at her words and said, "Please, have a seat and join me." Sure. With a smile, Lu Yuan sat opposite Qin Fan. Instead of eating dinner, she rested her chin in her hands, quietly watching Qin Fan eat the dinner she had prepared, finding herself somewhat entranced. "Why aren't you eating?" Qin Fan asked when he noticed Lu Yuan hadn't touched her dinner. Mr. Qin, you truly are handsome, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Lu Yuan wasn't lying. Qin Fan's appearance was truly handsome, and strangely, his simple actions of having dinner exuded a charm that she couldn't quite describe. Like a scion of a noble family, exceptionally graceful. Qin Fan didn't respond but continued, "I've reviewed the intelligence I've collected. Many magnates in Huandao City are eyeing the assets I've left behind after I depart. Mr. Qin, rest assured, I will not let them succeed," Lu Yuan immediately replied upon hearing this. "I know," Qin Fan responded, "but there's a saying, there's no thief for 1,000 days, but there's no 1,000-day defense against thieves. So, it's time to deter them." Lu Yuan was still young, controlling nearly 300 billion in assets, and there were even rumors that she climbed into Qin Fan's bed to gain this opportunity. Therefore, those big shots, seeing Lu Yuan controlling such vast wealth, would undoubtedly have thoughts. Qin Fan believed that as soon as he left Huandao City, those magnates would act covertly, even crushing Lu Yuan to pieces. So, before he departed, he had to do something that would deter all the magnates in Huandao City. As he spoke, Qin Fan's face grew colder, causing Lu Yuan to feel nervous. She knew that Qin Fan had already selected a family in Huandao City, and immediately looked at the documents in front of Qin Fan. The Wu family, Qin Fan said this Wu family, before the return of Huan Island to the kingdom of Xia, belonged to the top aristocracy of Huan Island. However, their entire existence relied on the British royal family. With the departure of the British royal family upon Huan Island's return, they plummeted. Upon hearing Qin Fan mention the Wu family, Lu Yuan explained their origins. Essentially, the Wu family was once Britain's lackey in Huan Island. Even after Huan's return, the Wu family silently assisted Britain in various unsavory activities. After finishing her explanation, Lu Yuan stood up and fetched an invitation letter from the side, handing it to Qin Fan. Mr. Qin, take a look at the invitation sent by the Wu family. Invitation? Qin Fan glanced at the invitation. A banquet is to be held at the Wu family's estate tomorrow, and I'm invited. Yes, I thought Mr. Qin wouldn't be interested, so I didn't tell you, Lu Yuan said. I indeed have no interest in attending. Qin Fan casually tossed the invitation, which immediately burst into flames in the air and swiftly dissipated at the same time. Qin Fan stood up, preparing to leave. Mr. Qin, where are you going? Lu Yuan asked immediately. I'm not interested in this banquet, so let's make sure it doesn't happen, Qin Fan replied lightly. Lu Yuan was momentarily stunned by his words. In the instant of her confusion, Qin Fan had already vanished before her eyes. Lu Yuan was somewhat absent-minded. She couldn't figure out how Qin Fan disappeared. Then, she shook her head and sat down at the table, enjoying her dinner while reminiscing about the time she spent living with Qin Fan. She could feel that Qin Fan's attitude towards her had softened considerably. Lost in thought, she inexplicably smiled. Jiangcheng, I must visit Jiangcheng when I have the chance. I also need to thank Jiang Qingning. I wonder what Jiang Qingning's relationship with Mr. Qin is? Lu Yuan chuckled foolishly at the thought, but it doesn't matter, being a lover is fine too. Ding dong. At that moment, the doorbell suddenly rang, bringing Lu Yuan's thoughts back. She got up to answer the door, only to see Lu Pingzhou and Gu Santong standing anxiously at the door. What's wrong, Mr. Lu, Master Gu? Lu Yuan asked, surprised by their expressions. Where's Master Qin? Gu Santong asked hurriedly. He went to the Wu family, Lu Yuan said, puzzled. What's going on? This is bad. Gu Santong's face changed instantly. What happened? Lu Yuan asked immediately, seeing Gu Santong's expression. I just received news that the Wu family is holding the banquet because the bloody princess has arrived, and not only has the bloody princess come, but her guardian knight Joseph has also arrived. Chapter 214, Awe. What bloody princess? What guardian knight? Lu Yuan looked puzzled. Bloody princess, you might not have heard of her, but you should know Princess Mary, Gu Santong hurriedly explained. Princess Mary, I know her. She's a princess of the British royal family. I've met her once when I visited Britain. She's very beautiful and kind. What's going on? Lu Yuan asked, feeling somewhat perplexed. That's just the surface. Princess Mary's nickname is the Bloody Princess. She's an extremely powerful esper. 15 years ago, she quietly came to Huan Island and defeated the Emotion Dao. And her accompanying guardian knight is a third-tier knight, a disciple of the Night King, incredibly powerful. Mr. Qin, if you go there unprepared, I'm afraid something might happen. Gu Santong hastily warned. What? Lu Yuan's face turned pale upon hearing this, and she even rushed out without putting on her shoes. Miss Lu, wait, we'll drive over there, Lu Pingzhou shouted hastily upon seeing the situation. The Wu family's mansion was brightly lit at this moment. The banquet tomorrow would be held here, so everyone from the Wu family had gathered, including Princess Mary and her guardian knight Joseph. Princess, I've sent out the invitations. Qin Fan will definitely come tomorrow. I wonder how you plan to deal with him. Wu Junqing finally asked the question he had been wanting to ask. Now, to seize the 300 billion, Qin Fan must be dealt with. Qin Fan would inevitably return after leaving, and there might be a lot of trouble by then. The best way was to kill Qin Fan. Princess Mary still wore crimson attire resembling blood, but now she wore a tight-fitting dress. At this moment, she held a goblet filled with red liquid. This liquid gave off a scent of blood, which puzzled the Wu family members. Strangely, ever since they entered the mansion, there had been a faint smell of blood, and the children seemed to have disappeared. Princess Mary drained the red liquid in the cup and then said lightly, "Are you worried I won't be able to kill him?" Princess, Qin Fan is indeed formidable. Even Emotion Dao deployed a great formation but still lost. That's why Junqing is worried, Wu Changxing, the head of the Wu family, said. This Qin Fan is lawless. He even dared to kill Prince Graham. He's already on the British royal family's kill list. Since the princess is here this time, it's inevitable that she will take Qin Fan's life. Joseph said. Although Qin Fan's actions on Huan Island don't matter much to our royal family, he's too lawless and has insulted the royal family. I must take his life, Princess Mary said. So, tomorrow, I'll kill him on the spot to warn everyone that even though Huan Island no longer belongs to Britain, the respect due to the royal family must still be maintained. Princess Mary filled her cup with red liquid again and stared at it, her eyes slowly turning crimson. Prince Graham's status within the British royal family wasn't particularly high. If he died, it shouldn't have been her task to deal with it but rather the responsibility of the Holy See. However, Graham died on Huan Island, which made things different. It was a contempt for the British royal family, so Princess Mary came in person to establish authority and to tell the Kingdom of Xia that even though Huan Island had returned, the influence of the British royal family was still deeply rooted and couldn't be challenged. The members of the Wu family smiled confidently upon hearing Princess Mary and Joseph's confident words. As long as Qin Fan died, Lu Yuan would lose her support, and everything would belong to them. I really should let you white pigs understand what all means. Just as everyone burst into laughter, a bland voice suddenly rang out abruptly. Who goes there? Chapter 215, Eliminating Evil for the People. The entire hall fell into deathly silence, with all eyes of the Wu family fixed on Joseph's severed head. Before the members of the Wu family felt the earth-shattering momentum of Joseph's sword strike and thought Qin Fan would surely die under that blow. However, Qin Fan caught it with 2 fingers, then casually twisted Joseph's head off and tossed it back to Princess Mary like a ball. How is this possible? Princess Mary was the first to snap out of her shock, her crimson eyes glaring at Qin Fan. Joseph was not just her guardian knight, their relationship went beyond master and servant, they were lovers. Thus, Mary was well aware of Joseph's strength, especially after he wielded that great sword, which could be described as unparalleled bravery. Among the grandmasters in Europe, he could easily rank in the top 10. With such strength, he couldn't find a single flaw in Qin Fan and was killed so effortlessly. Now I understand why you were able to kill Emotion Dao. Mary's eyes gleamed with killing intent as she stared at Qin Fan. She knew Qin Fan was formidable, but she couldn't retreat because they were in a fight to the death. Thinking that wielding a big sword constitutes swordsmanship and wanting to kill me, how laughable. Qin Fan wiped the blood off his hands casually. In reality, this Joseph would have been considered formidable among the people Qin Fan had encountered on Earth. If compared to Hua Tianxing, he would probably be at least 1.5 times as powerful. As for the power of that sword strike, it was estimated to be twice as powerful as Hua Tianxing's. However, faced with a cultivator in the middle stage of nascent soul like Qin Fan, even if he were 1,000 times stronger, he wouldn't be able to harm Qin Fan. Now it's your turn to meet your end, Qin Fan turned to Princess Mary and said. It's you who should die. Mary's pupils contracted as she heard this, and then blood-red light flashed in her eyes. These blood-red rays spread out like substance, engulfing the entire hall. At that moment, the entire hall was shrouded in crimson light. Wah! Then, terrifying screams echoed, and horrifying blood-red faces appeared in the crimson light, emitting terrifying cries of ghosts and wolves. Ah! At that moment, screams resounded as the members of the Wu family clutched their heads, their bodies contorting in agony as they emitted painful screams. After drinking the sacred wine, Mary saw the bloody hell. She struggled in the bloody hell for 7 days and survived, thereby gaining special abilities. She materialized her spiritual power, causing the bloody hell to descend. She continuously strengthened her bloody hell by devouring those who feasted on children. Children admired her, then were devoured by her bloody hell. Those children turned into vengeful spirits, constantly filling her bloody hell. In order to cultivate the bloody hell, she traveled to various places in the world, continuously using the bloody hell to devour children, such as the indigenous schools in Maple Leaf Country and the orphanages in Huan Island that had not yet been returned. Over the years, she had devoured tens of thousands of children, allowing the vengeful spirits of those children to fill her bloody hell. And this bloody hell was completely a special domain materialized by spiritual power. It directly eroded people's minds. Even if their bodies were incredibly strong, as long as their souls and spirits were weak, they would be crushed and devoured by this bloody hell, becoming its food. This was also why she was able to defeat Emotion Dao 15 years ago. As long as it wasn't the realm of the divine, no one's soul could withstand her bloody hell. Wow, this is spiritual power, or rather, divine consciousness. Qin Fan found himself enveloped in a hellish atmosphere, surrounded by countless resentful spirits wailing and howling, yet he remained utterly fearless, even with a hint of amusement flickering within. Once cultivators enter the foundation establishment stage, they birth their divine consciousness, an epitome of their mental prowess. With each advancement in cultivation, their spiritual essence strengthens. Qin Fan, having reached the third tribulation of Heavenly Dao Foundation establishment, formed a first-grade golden core, and condensed a top-tier immortal infant. His spiritual essence was so formidable that it could modestly dominate the entire Qinxian star domain, let alone the entire cultivation world. Compared to cultivators on Earth, Qin Fan's spiritual essence far surpassed the disparity in their cultivation levels. However, this bloody princess had no inkling of Qin Fan's identity, let alone the level of his spiritual essence. Mr. Qin. Suddenly, amidst their confrontation, a shout rang out, and the doors of the hall were violently pushed open and rushed Lu Ziyu without hesitation, accompanied by Lu Pingzhou, Gu Santon, and even personnel from the Huandao City Police Department. Lu Ziyu, worried about Qin Fan's safety and unprepared for the situation, opted to call the police for assistance. Her concerns were twofold: fear for Qin Fan's safety and apprehension about him harming Princess Mary. Mary, a princess of the British royal family, her death at Qin Fan's hands would undoubtedly invite the wrath of the entire British royal family, potentially sparking international incidents. This was exceedingly perilous for Qin Fan. She knew Qin Fan was formidable, but no matter how strong, he couldn't possibly match the military might of developed nations. Prince Graham's status wasn't high, and there was room for negotiation if he fell to Qin Fan's hands. However, if Princess Mary also met her demise at Qin Fan's hands, there would be no room for negotiation. Yet, the moment Lu Ziyu rushed in, she too was engulfed in the bloody hell, twisting in agony like the members of the Wu family, emitting piercing screams. Not only Lu Ziyu but also Lu Pingzhou, Gu Santon, and the police personnel suffered similarly. This is the bloody hell. You're an international A-level blood witch. Captain Hu Xinnan of the Flying Leopard team collapsed to the ground, eyes fixed on Princess Mary, his face contorted in agony and mind filled with unparalleled shock. An international A-level wanted criminal, a blood witch notorious for her atrocities, relentlessly preying on children. She was wanted by numerous countries, yet no one had found her true identity because everyone who encountered her ended up dead. Now, Captain Hu Xinnan understood why she remained elusive. The blood witch turned out to be Princess Mary, shielded by the British royal family, making it impossible for nations to locate her true self. Upon hearing Captain Hu Xinnan's words, Princess Mary suddenly burst into laughter, her laughter unrestrained. So what if you know? Tonight, everyone will die here. Amidst her maniacal laughter, the bloody hell emitted an even more intense crimson glow, a manifestation of her heightened spiritual power, akin to crimson flames burning fiercely. The resentful spirits became more tangible, then surged violently towards the members of the Wu family. The Wu family members let out piercing screams, then disintegrated, transforming into pools of blood one after another, spreading towards Lu Ziyu and her group. Tedious. At this moment, Qin Fan snorted coldly. Instantly, countless azure thunders appeared, manifestations of divine thunder condensed by Qin Fan's divine consciousness. As the divine thunder struck, the substantial bloodlights shattered instantly, and the bloody hell disintegrated in an instant. In that moment, Princess Mary staggered backward, collapsing to the ground with a resounding thud, blood streaming from her eyes. At this moment, her spirit was shattered by Qin Fan's divine thunder, her soul injured, her gaze dull as she struggled to speak. Who are you? How can you be so powerful? Princess Mary was truly stupefied. The thunder released by Qin Fan contained a vast spiritual power, a magnitude she had never witnessed before. Thunder solidified by spiritual power, even the Archbishop of the Holy See, no, even the Pope himself in legend, couldn't achieve such a feat. The Pope, the monarch of the Holy See, had long reached the pinnacle of spiritual cultivation. Legend had it that his spiritual essence was solid enough to give birth to life. Yet, even so, the spiritual power of this Pope would probably not be 1/10 of Qin Fan's. Princess Mary couldn't believe that such a person existed in the world, invincible in martial arts, invincible in Taoism, invincible in spiritual power. This completely defied logic. Even the most prodigious genius in the Holy See for 1,000 years couldn't accomplish this. Because you're too weak, Qin Fan said coldly, then raised his hand and slapped. Snap! A sound rang out as Princess Mary was directly slapped into a pulp by Qin Fan, beyond the reach of death. After the act, Qin Fan's gaze shifted to Lu Ziyu, who was still lying on the ground, and said, "What are you doing here? Bringing so many people?" Lu Ziyu struggled for a moment, got up, and like a repentant maid, she dared not look at Qin Fan, murmuring softly, "I heard from Master Gu that the bloody princess had arrived. I was afraid for your safety, so I brought people here. Such rubbish, even if there were hundreds more, they couldn't harm me." You don't need to worry, Qin Fan said casually. Upon hearing this, Lu Ziyu raised her head, sensing no blame in Qin Fan's tone, and said, I won't do it again in the future. Qin Fan paid no further attention to Lu Ziyu but turned to the police officers and said, So many of you, do you intend to arrest me? Don't worry, Master Qin, you've just rid the world of a scourge. The one who died just now was the internationally wanted criminal known as the Bloody Witch. Not only will we not arrest you, but you will also receive a reward, Hu Xinnan hurriedly explained. Upon receiving Lu Ziyu's message, he led a large team here, fearing that Qin Fan might do something extreme. After all, this was a princess of Britain. If Qin Fan did something extreme, it would indeed trigger an international incident that could not be contained. As a result, they never expected Princess Mary to be the wanted criminal, the Bloody Witch. If it weren't for Qin Fan, they would probably have all died here. How could they possibly arrest Qin Fan? They were beyond grateful. Oh, Qin Fan responded indifferently, not bothering to engage further with these people, then turned to Lu Ziyu and said, Let's go, let's head back. Alright, I'll drive. Lu Ziyu immediately smiled. Chapter 216, 10th on the heavenly list. Mr. Qin, what troubles your mind? As she drove, Lu Ziyu glanced at Qin Fan, who sat in the passenger seat lost in thought, and inquired. The fall of the Wu family, the demise of the bloody princess at my hands. Tomorrow, news of the Wu family's downfall will surely spread throughout the entire island, sufficiently deterring those ambitious bigwigs lurking in the shadows. Qin Fan spoke. Yes, tomorrow's news. I shall add fuel to the fire. With Mr. Qin's reputation, it will undoubtedly deter those who dare harbor ill intentions, Lu Ziyu responded. Indeed, within the city of the island, but what about beyond? Qin Fan questioned. Well. Lu Ziyu was momentarily speechless. The bloody princess met her end at my hands this time, but what if next time it's a more formidable opponent, a black-hearted princess or a white-hearted princess? What use am I if I'm not around? Qin Fan remarked. I swear to protect everything about you with my life, Lu Ziyu immediately declared. You are mine now, even if as a servant. I cannot allow any harm to befall you, Qin Fan asserted. Upon hearing this, Lu Ziyu's face flushed slightly. She knew she had been marked by Qin Fan. However, what he said was also a stark reality. To Qin Fan, the bloody princess was insignificant, but to the entire city of the island, she was a formidable figure. If a stronger opponent were to come later, Lu Ziyu would nearly be meat for the slaughter by someone else. Even if Qin Fan returned to the island in the future, by then, whatever needed to happen would have already occurred. It seems necessary to find a capable servant to stay here, Qin Fan pondered inwardly. However, he couldn't think of any suitable candidates. Neither Lu Pingzhou nor Gu Santong were of much use. As Qin Fan pondered, the vehicle arrived back at the villa on the hill. Mr. Qin, are you hungry? Shall I prepare something for you? Once they entered the villa, Lu Ziyu didn't turn on the lights immediately, but instead spoke. Since getting to know Qin Fan, Lu Ziyu had noticed his lack of interest in most things, such as the luxury cars that men typically fancied. He wouldn't even spare them a glance. So far, she had discovered that his sole interest lay in food. Therefore, she wouldn't miss any opportunity to showcase her culinary skills. However, Qin Fan didn't respond. Instead, he furrowed his brows slightly and then spoke, Is tonight so lively? Don't hide, come out. Confused, Lu Ziyu looked at Qin Fan. It's no wonder you've caused an early update to the heavenly list. Despite my efforts to conceal my presence, you still found me, a slightly hoarse voice sounded as Qin Fan finished speaking. Immediately after, a figure emerged from a dark corner. In the moonlight, it was apparent that the figure belonged to a small, elderly man. Clad in gray attire, with an unremarkable appearance, his eyes were exceptionally sharp, and he stood there emanating an unfathomable aura. Seeing this old man, Lu Ziyu's scalp tingled, and her hair stood on end. She then struggled to speak. Who are you, and how did you get in here? Where are the security guards? Little girl, your security guards are of no use, the old man chuckled. No need to worry too much. This time, it was Qin Fan who spoke. Lu Ziyu, upon hearing Qin Fan's voice, relaxed slightly and then hid behind him, asking, Mr. Qin, who is he? I don't know, Qin Fan replied, turning to the old man. Speak, who are you, and what is your business here? I am Chao Qingguan, the old man stated without hesitation, revealing his name. I've never heard of you. Get to the point, Qin Fan demanded impatiently.
Chao Qingwan seemed taken aback. You've never heard of my name?
No, get to the point, Qin Fan reiterated, growing impatient.
10th on the heavenly list, Chao Qingwan. Chao Qingwan spoke again. 10th on the heavenly list? Lu Ziyue's eyes widened in astonishment.
Although she hadn't delved deeply into the cultivation world before, she had recently learned some things about the heavenly list because of Qin Fan. The Divine Master was also a figure on the heavenly list, ranking around 20. With his strength, he had been the number 1 figure in the city of the island for 60 years. Lu Pingzhou and Gu Santong had told her that the individuals on the heavenly list had unfathomable strength, especially the top 10, who were like dragons and phoenixes among men, terrifyingly powerful, and now, the 10th on the heavenly list had unexpectedly appeared in her home.
Mr. Qin. Lu Ziyue's heart raced.
10th on the heavenly list, Qin Fan muttered, finally understanding the situation. He had heard of the heavenly list. Those who made it onto the list were formidable individuals, albeit relative to those on Earth.
So, what brings you here? Qin Fan inquired again. Chao Qingwan seemed to grow angry. You mean you don't know why I've come to find you? I don't even know you.
I have no idea why you're here to find me, Qin Fan shrugged.
Chao Qingwan's expression darkened. You are now 10th on the heavenly list, a position that originally belonged to me.
Now, you've pushed me down from that position, so I've come to reclaim my 10th spot. With these words, both Qin Fan and Lu Ziyue were stunned. Lu Ziyue looked at Qin Fan, her eyes full of disbelief.
No wonder Mr. Qin is so powerful. He's 10th on the heavenly list.
And Qin Fan was even more astonished.
When did I get on this list?
He had never paid attention to the heavenly, earthly, or human lists. In his eyes, they were all insignificant. He even felt embarrassed to be on such a list. Therefore, Qin Fan had no idea that he had made it onto the heavenly list, nor had he ever cared.
Insignificant list? Chao Qingwan's mouth twitched upon hearing this. He couldn't help but feel that something was off about his trip here.
The position on the list that he cared about seemed worthless in the eyes of others. It made him feel like he had been played.
It was infuriating. I don't care if it's insignificant or not. Since you've taken my 10th position on the heavenly list, I must take it back.
Chao Qingwan's expression darkened, and his aura surged. The surging aura was like a raging sea, sweeping through the entire villa, causing it to tremble as if it were on the verge of collapse. Feeling this aura, Qin Fan made an assessment in his heart.
It was probably as strong as 5 Huaishenzing. Such strength would be formidable anywhere. Boom!
As soon as Qin Fan uttered these 2 words, a thunderous sound erupted.
Chao Qingwan, who had leaped halfway, suddenly crashed to the ground, sinking into the floor, unable to move. Chapter 217, Do you want to enter the divine realm?
Chao Qingwan's frail body lay on the ground, attempting to struggle to his feet, but he found himself suppressed by a force as vast and imposing as towering mountains, rendering him immobile. He couldn't fathom what had just happened. Moments ago, Qin Fan had uttered 2 words, and then a force as monumental as a mountain pressed down, pinning him to the ground, leaving an indentation where his body lay. Dare to challenge me like this? Qin Fan walked over afterward, looking down at the immobilized Chao Qingwan.
Can't even move.
Having said that, Qin Fan continued walking toward the undamaged area, with Lu Ziyue following behind him. Her face naturally displayed shock. After all, since being with Qin Fan, she had experienced many supernatural events and had become somewhat accustomed to them. But to suppress someone with just 2 words? That was beyond absurd. After Qin Fan arrived, he pulled out a chair and sat down, while Lu Ziyue stood by his side. You can get up now, Qin Fan finally spoke. As Qin Fan's words fell, Chao Qingwan instantly felt the power suppressing his body disappear. He quickly scrambled to his feet, his eyes filled with fear as he looked at Qin Fan and asked, Senior, what realm are you in? You wouldn't understand the realm I'm in, Qin Fan said calmly. Chao Qingwan looked at Qin Fan speechlessly, ultimately sighing, truly a peerless figure who caused an early update to the heavenly list. It seems I won't be able to reclaim my 10th position. Qin Fan furrowed his brows at Chao Qingwan's words and asked, why are you so determined to reclaim the 10th position? Is the top 10 of the heavenly list so important? Chao Qingwan shook his head and explained, because the top 10 of the heavenly list have the qualification to enter the profound gate. The top 10 of the heavenly list have the qualification to enter the profound gate? Qin Fan was astonished to hear this.
Xin Fan had heard Chen Yao talk about the Profound Gate before. The Profound Gate was an extremely mysterious organization, with all the information about the practitioners seemingly under its control, hence the existence of the heavenly, earthly, and human lists. Now that he was on the Profound Gate, it meant that his information might also be under the control of the Profound Gate. Do you not understand the significance of being in the top 10 of the heavenly list? Chao Qingwan asked. I don't know. What's there to pay attention to on a useless list? Xin Fan responded. Chao Qingwan's face turned bitter. What he pursued was disregarded by others as worthless. But now I'm a little interested. As long as one is in the top 10 of the heavenly list, can they enter the Profound Gate? Xin Fan asked. It's not necessarily the case, Chao Qingwan immediately replied. Not necessarily? Xin Fan was puzzled. The number of spots available to enter the Profound Gate varies each time. Sometimes there are 10 spots, sometimes only 2 or 3, or even just 1. Therefore, to have a chance to enter, one must be in the top 10, otherwise, there's no opportunity. Chao Qingwan explained. Why must one go to the Profound Gate? Xin Fan asked curiously. I have practiced for 60 years and have reached the pinnacle of the Grandmaster realm, but I have not found the method to enter the Divine Realm. That's why I must go to the Profound Gate, Chao Qingwan admitted truthfully. Facing Xin Fan, he didn't have much to hide. Someone who could suppress him with just 2 words could easily kill him with a flick of his hand. Hiding anything would only lead to his demise. The Profound Gate has the method to achieve the Divine Realm? Xin Fan inquired. I actually don't know for sure, but historically, any Grandmaster from the Heavenly List who entered the Profound Gate would invariably achieve the Divine Realm upon returning. So, going to the Profound Gate is my only method to enter the Divine Realm, Chao Qingwan explained. You yourself can't reach the Divine Realm? Xin Fan inquired. Senior, don't you know about the Divine Realm? Chao Qingwan asked, somewhat puzzled. Xin Fan had just used 2 words to suppress him. It was obvious he possessed Divine Realm strength. How could he not know? Be honest, Xin Fan replied curtly, not wanting to elaborate. The Divine Realm is elusive, requiring substantive spiritual essence, or divine consciousness, to unify with the physical body, thus giving birth to the divine seed within. However, this method is only known to those secluded sects or top organizations. As an independent cultivator like me, I have no access to it. The Profound Gate is my only chance, Chao Qingwan explained. This sounds a lot like forming the nascent soul, but it seems like a rudimentary method, Xin Fan thought to himself. Nascent soul formation ranged from the 1st to the 9th grade, and cultivators could reach the nascent soul stage as long as they had enough accumulation. However, the nascent soul produced wouldn't exceed the 6th grade, categorizing it as a low-grade nascent soul. To achieve higher grades, cultivators needed to comprehend specific Tao principles and cultivate special nascent soul techniques. The 1st to 3rd grades were called the golden nascent souls, requiring extremely special Tao principles and methods. Only by forming a golden nascent soul was there a possibility of condensing an immortal infant during the infant condensation stage. Xin Fan formed his nascent soul by seizing top-tier Tao principles in a secret realm and ultimately condensed a 1st-grade nascent soul, an immortal infant grade. As a result, he was invincible during the nascent soul stage. Even in the later stages, he could battle against non-immortal infant nascent soul cultivators, or even slay immortal infant cultivators. However, the risks involved in achieving a 1st-grade nascent soul were something only Xin Fan himself could understand. It truly was a perilous endeavor, Senior, I admit defeat. It was presumptuous of me to come here, Chao Qingwan said after a moment of silence from Xin Fan. He wanted to leave. If he didn't, it might be dangerous. Xin Fan looked at Chao Qingwan and asked, Are you truly an independent cultivator? Do you have no backing whatsoever? Senior, every word I said was true. I dare not deceive, Chao Qingwan replied promptly. I'll see for myself, Xin Fan said, then reached out with his right hand. Chao Qingwan felt a powerful suction, and before he knew it, he was pulled in front of Xin Fan. Oh no, he's going to kill me. Chao Qingwan's face paled in terror as Xin Fan pulled him close. At that moment, he saw Xin Fan's hand descending toward his head. With Xin Fan's hand pressed against Chao Qingwan's head, Chao Qingwan felt as if his soul were being dragged out of his body. However, Xin Fan quickly withdrew his hand and said to the now profusely sweating Chao Qingwan, You lied to me. You're not an independent cultivator. Your Chao family was wiped out, and you want to enter the divine realm for revenge. Chao Qingwan looked at Xin Fan in horror, 2 words echoing in his mind. Soul search. Don't worry, I only skimmed through your memories.
It wasn't a true soul search, otherwise, you would have been left a vegetable long ago, Qin Fan reassured Chao Qingguan. Direct and forceful soul searches would directly damage the target's soul, leaving them a vegetable. Qin Fan had only lightly skimmed through, so it didn't affect Chao Qingguan's soul much. Chao Qingguan dared not speak. He truly regretted coming to Qin Fan. Someone who could bring forward the update of the heavenly list by 10 years must be an extraordinary individual. How could he possibly be an opponent? But he had no choice. The heavenly list was in a dynamic state, with rankings changing at any moment. He had originally thought he was secure in the 10th position, as the gap between the top 10 and the next 10 was enormous, but unexpectedly, Qin Fan had started jumping up from the 50th position, reaching the 10th position in just 2 days, pushing him down to 11th. So, he had to risk being discovered by his enemies and come to the island city. The result? He was suppressed by 2 words. It was beyond belief. Senior, may I leave now? Chao Qingguan wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and asked. Do you want to enter the divine realm? Qin Fan suddenly asked. Chao Qingguan was stunned by Qin Fan's words, his eyes filled with astonishment. Enter the divine realm? Every cultivator aspired to reach the divine realm, especially someone like him burdened with the hatred of his family's extermination. Without entering the divine realm, how could he seek revenge against his enemies, who were powerful experts at the divine realm level? Senior, what do you mean? Chao Qingguan asked cautiously. Join my ranks, become my servant, and I will help you enter the divine realm, Qin Fan said calmly. Qin Fan had seen Chao Qingguan's memories. Originally, Chao Qingguan was the legitimate son of the Chao family in the northwest of Xia country. When he was young, the Chao family was wiped out, and he escaped alone. Relying on the cultivation methods left by the Chao family, he cultivated on his own, facing various pursuits along the way. Eventually, he reached the pinnacle of the Grandmaster realm and made it to the 10th position on the heavenly list. If he had a family and forces backing him, entering the divine realm would not be an issue. Chao Qingguan's experiences were somewhat similar to Qin Fan's, so Qin Fan felt a connection and could offer guidance to this person. Moreover, if Chao Qingguan agreed, he could easily become the ruler of the island city with him there. No one would dare to bully Lu Yuan. Chao Qingguan looked at Qin Fan, not doubting his ability to help him enter the divine realm. Senior, what is the price? Chao Qingguan asked, taking a deep breath. The price as a servant is unquestionable loyalty. However, initially, I won't trust you completely, so I will imprint a divine soul mark on you. And what I need you to do is to stay in the island city and protect Lu Yuan. Qin Fan said to Chao Qingguan. Hearing Qin Fan's words, Lu Yuan's heart raced. She had been thinking about Qin Fan's consideration for her. Although she understood that Qin Fan valued her assistance in managing his vast assets, it still touched her deeply. After hesitating for a moment, Chao Qingguan said, Senior, if you can help me enter the divine realm, I will naturally be loyal to you. However, your plan for me to stay in the island city long-term won't work. I have always been pursued by enemies, and I dare not stay in one place for long, lest I attract more enemies. Even tonight, I came here secretly. Once things are settled, I will leave immediately and go into hiding overseas. I can easily provide you with a new identity using the resources Lu Yuan currently holds. If you can enter the divine realm, I can also teach you a transformation technique that will allow you to hide safely from your pursuers. Qin Fan added, thinking ahead. Transformation techniques were common in the cultivation world, and Qin Fan had several disguises himself. His transformation technique not only changed appearances but also altered aura and even soul vibrations, making it difficult for others to track. Of course, Qin Fan's transformation technique was advanced, capable of changing even the soul's aura. But he would only teach Chao Qingguan a basic transformation technique that would suffice. Chao Qingguan was torn upon hearing this. If he didn't agree, he might end up silenced. Qin Fan had already considered so much, and this was almost his only chance for revenge. Finally, Chao Qingguan took a deep breath and bowed, saying, Chao Qingguan greets the master. Qin Fan gazed upon Chao Qingguan with such intensity, then with a flick of his finger, a divine thought shot forth, piercing into the very center of Chao Qingguan's brow. Chao Qingguan immediately felt his spirit branded. Any hint of defiance would surely lead to annihilation. In the moment of Chao Qingguan's panic, Qin Fan's hand pressed upon his head, channeling a mysterious and profound force into him. This enigmatic force flowed within Chao Qingguan's body, permeating his limbs and core, refining him thoroughly and opening the once obstructed meridians. Simultaneously, a plethora of impurities were expelled, accompanied by a foul stench. Approximately 10 minutes later, Qin Fan withdrew his hand, dispersing the putrid impurities with a wave. Then he spoke, "I have just reformed your essence and cleansed your marrow, significantly altering your constitution. Now, I shall impart unto you a method to cultivate your soul. With your current foundation, reaching the divine realm shall not be an arduous task." Chao Qingwan had already missed the prime age for cultivating immortality, rendering the transmission of such methods meaningless. Given his need to refine his soul, it was best to impart upon him a set of rudimentary soul cultivation techniques. With a strengthened soul and Chao Qingwan's revitalized physique, coupled with his current accumulation, he could feasibly achieve a form of nascent divinity. Of course, this nascent divinity would pale in comparison to true immortals, akin to an embryonic core, yet it sowed the seeds of immortality. In time, he could be fully instructed in the ways of immortality, progressing towards the formation of an infant. Naturally, this was a matter for the future, contingent upon Chao Qingwan's progress. As for his eventual prowess, it remained to be evaluated, but undoubtedly, he would not be weaker than the average divine realm cultivator. Without delay, Qin Fan infused his divine consciousness into Chao Qingwan's mind, imparting unto him a method of soul cultivation. "Take this soul-shaping pill, it will aid you in cultivating your soul," Qin Fan said, then casually produced another pill. The soul-shaping pill held little utility for Qin Fan and had been lying unused. It was better to bestow it upon another. At this moment, Chao Qingwan stared at Qin Fan with eyes full of awe. Sensing the transformation of his body, he felt rejuvenated by at least 20 years. In this state, a simple disguise would render his enemies unable to recognize him. Moreover, the soul cultivation technique imparted by Qin Fan was exceedingly profound, coupled with a pill that facilitated soul cultivation. These fortuitous encounters were beyond imagination. They truly spoke volumes of Qin Fan's magnanimity and grandeur. "Thank you, master." Chao Qingwan immediately prostrated himself, tears streaming down as he worshipped Qin Fan. "If you wish to express gratitude, then perform your duties diligently for me," Qin Fan responded. "I shall serve you with utmost dedication until my last breath," Chao Qingwan earnestly declared. He had never anticipated such immense gains from his journey around the islands. It was truly a stroke of great fortune. On the sidelines, Lu Ziyu watched as Chao Qingwan knelt, her eyes shimmering with astonishment. The fact that Qin Fan effortlessly recruited a top 10 expert from the heavenly ranking left her equally astounded. Qin Fan, however, was content. He had been contemplating the need for a capable subordinate to oversee Island City, and now Chao Qingwan had presented himself. With this, the affairs of Island City were finally resolved. "Tomorrow, I shall contact Xiang Shui. It is time to return." Qin Fan pondered. He had been in Island City for quite some time now, and as for the materials needed for the formation arrays, he had already entrusted Lu Ziyu and Gu Santong with the task. With the matters in Island City settled, it was time for him to return to River City, to see Yang Li and inquire about obtaining the fragment of the Great Tao from her Chaos Pearl. Chapter 219, Returning to River City. Qin Fan emerged from Jiangcheng Airport. With the affairs of Island City settled, Lu Ziyu would handle the trivial matters that followed. Qin Fan contacted Xiang Shui the next day. She was already on a filming assignment in the summer country, easily accessible for a meeting. Thus, Qin Fan boarded a flight back to River City that afternoon. As Qin Fan stepped out of the airport, his phone immediately rang. It was Lin Qingyan. "Have you arrived?" Lin Qingyan's voice came through as soon as he answered. "I have." "Where are you?" Qin Fan inquired promptly. "I'm at the exit, in a Ford. Come over by yourself," Lin Qingyan instructed. "A Ford? The beat-up car?" Qin Fan was surprised by Lin Qingyan's words. Why was Lin Qingyan driving a Ford? Wasn't she using her red BMW anymore? That beat-up car had become somewhat extraordinary now, with the appearance of a spirit. However, Qin Fan didn't dwell on it and hung up the phone, quickly locating Lin Qingyan's car. "What's going on?" Qin Fan was taken aback as he got into the car and saw Lin Qingyan. At this moment, Lin Qingyan wore sunglasses and a mask, making it impossible to see her true appearance. "We'll talk on the way," Lin Qingyan said, immediately starting the car. Sitting inside, Qin Fan sensed the presence of a spirit. "Is there something wrong with this car?" Qin Fan asked. "Of course not. It's a good car, but you always like to call it beat up," Lin Qingyan said indignantly. She had bought this car with her own money, feeling particularly attached to it, and deliberately drove it for Qin Fan, yet he called it beat up, which was really annoying.
Oh, Qin Fan responded, then asked, why are you dressed like this? I have no choice. Now that Xiuli has become a hot commodity, I get stopped by a lot of people whenever I go out. Lin Qingyan explained. Qin Fan chuckled upon hearing this. It was obvious that Lin Qingyan had a close relationship with Master Qin behind the scenes at Tianqin Company, considering the substantial benefits she received from it. Now with the popularity of Red Beauty Essence and Eternal Youth Essence, Tianqin Company's income was staggering, so many people wanted to associate with it. Unable to find someone from Tianqin Company, they turned to Lin Qingyan. This brought Lin Qingyan great business opportunities but also a lot of trouble. Can't find the husband, so looking for the wife, huh? Qin Fan couldn't help but laugh after hearing this. Lin Qingyan heard Qin Fan's words, gave him a fierce glare behind her sunglasses, but did not retort after all. She was now Qin Fan's legal wife. However, she was uncertain about how to broach the subject of Tianqin Company belonging to Qin Fan. Many signs pointed to it being his, but she couldn't bring herself to believe it fully. She could only hold her thoughts inside and wait for Qin Fan to acknowledge it. Qin Fan had expected Lin Qingyan to argue, especially since she had doubts about him being Master Qin. Grandma's condition is deteriorating. She has been longing to see you. Lin Qingyan changed the subject again. Didn't you hire Dr. Catherine to see her? Qin Fan asked. Medicine isn't omnipotent. Dr. Catherine said that unless Grandma is taken to her lab for unconventional treatment, there's nothing more she can do, Lin Qingyan said sorrowfully. Qin Fan could only shake his head. He had a solution, but Yang Li wanted to let nature take its course. Soon, Lin Qingyan's car entered her neighborhood. She circled around and entered through the back gate, then calmly parked the car in the underground garage before taking Qin Fan to her villa. Qin Fan chuckled as they drove. He noticed many people waiting outside wanting to see Lin Qingyan. After entering the villa, Qin Fan sensed the chaos pearl reacting again, and his divine consciousness disappeared just like it did at Yang Li's old house last time. Indeed, the thing is with Yang Li, Qin Fan affirmed in his mind. Lin Qingyan immediately took Qin Fan to Yang Li's room. Inside, Qin Fan not only saw Yang Li but also Lin Qingyan's father, Lin Shanpin, her stepmother, Su Xiuzhen, and a man in Taoist robes wearing sunglasses. The man was holding talismans and performing some kind of ritual. What are you doing to my grandmother? Lin Qingyan immediately spoke up upon seeing this scene, rushing forward to stop the Taoist. Qingyan, this is the master I invited to perform a ritual. Maybe he can help. Lin Shanpin quickly stopped Lin Qingyan when he saw her approaching. It's the 21st century. How can you still believe in this? Get him out. Lin Qingyan couldn't contain her anger. Her grandmother was in such a state, yet her father was here messing around. It really infuriated her. What belief? This is your father's filial piety towards your grandmother. What's wrong with you? Su Xiuzhen spoke up at this moment, her tone somewhat sarcastic. Lin Qingyan glared at Su Xiuzhen, wanting to scold her, but considering her grandmother's condition, she held back and said, now, Grandma is very unwell. Making such a fuss is harming her. Please leave quickly. Humph, Mr. Lin, your daughter has caused trouble. Offending Master Wu, the Taoist snorted coldly and then collected the talismans before leaving in a huff. Master Wu, don't go. Lin Shanpin panicked and hurriedly chased after him. You've caused trouble. You've offended Master Wu. Su Xiuzhen glared at Lin Qingyan viciously before following Lin Shanpin to chase after Master Wu. Finally, the room quieted down, leaving only Qin Fan, Lin Qingyan, and Yang Li. Grandma, are you okay? Lin Qingyan approached and asked with concern. Yang Li, lying on the bed, opened her eyes and saw Qin Fan and Lin Qingyan, managing to force a smile through her discomfort. Then she said, don't blame your father. He's just desperate. Qin Fan furrowed his brows slightly upon hearing this. The Taoist just now indeed displayed some spiritual power during the ritual, indicating he was a cultivator, but Qin Fan sensed a hint of malice. Unfortunately, his divine consciousness was suppressed here, preventing him from investigating further. However, he was certain that the Taoist must have some ulterior motive. Grandma, Qin Fan is back. Lin Qingyan held Yang Li's hand and said. Ah. Yang Li responded softly, then added, Qingyan, you go out first. Let me have a private conversation with Qin Fan. Lin Qingyan nodded and then left the room, leaving Qin Fan alone with Yang Li.
I can help you restore your former self, Qin Fan said at this moment. Now, as long as Yang Li agreed, he could immediately use his powerful magic to rejuvenate her.
No need.
I should go downstairs to see your grandfather, Yang Li smiled generously.
Qin Fan sighed and could only say helplessly, Grandma, do you have anything to say to me?
You're already ranked 10th on the heavenly ranking, Yang Li said to Qin Fan.
Qin Fan was surprised to hear this. Grandma, do you pay attention to the heavenly ranking?
It's not that I pay attention to the heavenly ranking, but the Lin family and the Yang family are both practitioners, Yang Li said in a tone that was like a bolt from the blue.